Talk Radio.
Thank you very much. Good evening, dear listener. This is Iain Lee, live from New York City. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Lots of stuff on the show this evening, including Steve Guttenberg. This is Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Differently interesting nocturnal emissions from a legend of late night radio.
Iain Lee, on air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Thank you very much, dear listener. Good evening. This is Iain Lee, live from New York City, day 2 of what could be considered a great folly, but then aren't some of the best things follies? No. We are coming live from, well, I don't really know where we are, and neither did our cab driver when we asked him to bring us here. The cab driver was going all over the place. It got very tense in there, very tense. And he was going. He didn't know the address when we showed it to him, so he ended up using his GPS. And then he's going, "I don't believe this GPS is sending." So then I had to turn on my telephone, turn on the data roaming. So I probably spent like 50 quid on data roaming, and Google Maps it. And I was going, "Right, okay, this is where we're going." He said, "No, I don't think that's right." I said, "Man, honestly, I think it is." We drove around for ages. What should have been a $20 fare was a $45 fare. In fairness to the gentleman, right? He said, "Oh, I can't take $45 off you. I got you lost. Why don't you just give me $30 and that'll be fine." So I gave him 40 and said, "Well, if you've got a 10, and he went, "I haven't got any change." So he got his $40. But anyway, we are where we are. We are in the studio that's used by Keith and the girl. Remember when I was saying we're coming to New York and we need places to go to and people to see? Who would you recommend? Loads of you said Keith and the girl. You should listen to that and get them on your show if you can. Me and Kath have just been on their show, and then I've interviewed them, and you'll hear the interview with them later on in this show. What was funny, we came in, and everyone's just been absolutely delightful, and they're letting us use their equipment to do our show this evening. We came in and they had 2 mics set up, and Kath went, "Oh no, you don't want to talk to me." They said, "Sit down, what's up?" So Kath was on it as well, and if you're watching on Periscope or on the keithandthegirl.com, there was some very strong language there, guys. There was some very strong language that was going on. We are on Periscope now. If you want to watch us, you go to periscope.com/Iain Lee, and you can call in. You are allowed to call in tonight. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Ed is back. Oh, Catherine is editing right now. She's editing the interview we've just done, and we'll send that over. Ed is in the studio. Ed, are you there?
I am here.
How's it going in London? I don't care. Honestly, I don't care.
It's hot.
Is it? I bet it's not as hot as it is here.
I bet it's hotter over there, yeah.
95. And
wow.
I'm carrying this portable studio. So I've got a bag and a rucksack, and I've got headphones around my neck because we're just recording stuff on the fly as we see it and as we see people. So I'm going to be honest, I stink. Absolutely stink. But I think there's a chance of a thunderstorm tonight or tomorrow, so that would be cool. If you phone in, you will speak to Ed, and because of the way the system is working here at the moment, I don't have that screen, Ed, that we would normally communicate with, because Catherine is editing on that computer. So if and when we get callers, you could let me know. That would be awesome. Do we have any calls? Do we have any callers at the moment?
Not at this stage. Give me a couple of minutes here.
Give it a couple of minutes and you can get them. So on tonight's show, it's a packed show. We have got the chat that we did with Keith and the girl. The reason that Catherine is taking so long to edit it is they really are very sweary. No, I was showing off to my new American friends. If I'm completely honest, I was shouting a lot and swearing a lot and trying to look hard in front of Americans. That's what I was trying to do. But that will be uploaded and we'll listen to that a little bit later on. We've also got Mr. Steve Guttenberg. Me and Kath went and had breakfast with Steve Guttenberg. How cool is that? And what's doubly cool is he had a full day of press interviews for this new series he's doing, Ballers. 25 interviews or 20 interviews or something he had set up all day, and yet he still took, so we only had 40 minutes. He still took 40 minutes to meet us in a diner, and we had coffee and breakfast with him, and that was cool. You're also going to hear, dear listener, kind of our first 24 hours. Well, it wasn't even that, probably our first 5 hours in New York. We went and visited a few bits. We went to Trump Tower. We went to Times Square and saw lots of women with their nipples out. And we also, weirdly, we went to the Dakota Building, which is famous for two main reasons. Famous because Rosemary's Baby was filmed there, and also John Lennon was murdered there. And, you know, obviously I'm a huge Beatles fan. So for me to go there, it was a very sombre pilgrimage. It felt weird being there, you know, and I'm so aware of that place, having read the books and seen the documentaries and pictures of it. To actually be there, you know, it was the weirdest thing. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Oh, something else you might hear tonight. Again, another suggestion that you guys made about where we should go was some of you said there's an old guy who's turned his house into a museum. You should go and look at that. And that was it. That was all the clues I had. And using a little bit of detective work, Google, I managed to find this guy, Mr. Pisano, and we went to visit him yesterday, and you will hear what happened there. But, dear listener, you are more than welcome to call in and share all things New York with us. Of course, we are here in New York all week, and we will be bringing you the colours and the sounds from New York City. But you can call in about any old nonsense as well. You know, you don't have to call in and talk about New York City. You can call in about, I don't know, any old rubbish. I haven't looked at the papers. I have no idea what's going on in the world. I have no idea if, you know, I still don't know what's happening with the British government. I don't know if we have a British government anymore. I'm kind of guessing that we don't have. So you can call in about absolutely anything you want. If you want to phone in and talk nonsense, if you want to phone in and make suggestions of where we should go, then please do. Now, one thing that we did on Sunday night, me and Kath, because, you know, it's that kind of weird thing where we were tired but we weren't tired, and we wanted to get into the New York sort of vibe and time zone, was that we went and saw a movie. It was like, hey, let's go and see a movie in an American cinema weeks before it comes out in the UK. So we got to the pictures, and here's something. On the way to the cinema, right, I was wearing a Zombies t-shirt, and this guy, this young guy, I say young guy, he's probably 30, something like that, as we were about to go to the cinema, went, hey man, you're wearing a Zombie. I love the Zombies. And this is the kind of thing that happens in New York and doesn't happen in London. You're in London wearing a Zombies t-shirt, no one says anything. In New York, me and this guy were chatting for about 10, 15 minutes about bands. And I said, I'm a big fan of the Zombies. We had them on the show. And he went, I love them. She's not there. And then by coincidence, a Monkees record started playing, and we started talking about the Monkees. And he was kind of turning me onto some music. He'd never heard of Arthur Lee and Love, so I said, "Oh man, you've got to go and listen to Forever Changes." And he's so I, you know, if I've done nothing of worth, I've told a young man what his next favourite album is going to be. You know, an absolute all-time classic. And then, so we got chatting to him, and we were chatting to him for a bit, and then we went to the cinema, and the only film that was, first of all, we were going to see Some Like It Hot that we were going to see, but it wasn't the original Some Like It Hot. It was like a Korean version of it. So we thought, I think we'll pass on that. So the only film that was on that we could see, and it was just starting then, was Tom Cruise's The Mummy. Now, as you know, I got a soft spot for Tom Cruise. I don't buy into, knock the art, not the artist. So I don't care what he gets up to in his spare time. I don't care which, silly religion he subscribes to. None of my business. I just like watching films with Tom Cruise in. Now, he's always playing the same character. And I would like it that in every film he was in, he should be called Jerry Maguire, because it's always Jerry Maguire. And in this episode of Jerry Maguire, he's in the Iraqi desert fighting zombies. it started off quite well, but man alive, it was just ridiculous. It was basically, it was kind of a comedy, but with action bits. So it would go from broad humour to them, in an aeroplane that was crashing. We saw it in 3D as well, so that was a waste of money. And it couldn't make up its mind what it was. And also, they are so obviously... There is aircon in the studio, if that's what you can hear. Yeah, deal with it, guys. It's flipping hot. They're so obviously going to make it into a franchise, because you had... Russell Crowe, a man I do not trust, as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And it just... it's kind of all these old Universal movies, The Mummy and the Wolfman and Dracula and Frankenstein, and, geez, those monsters are dull. Those monsters are dull as anything. Flipping heck. So it was, overall, I would say, it was a disappointing movie. One of my favourite actors let himself down. Yes, Catherine?
You have a caller. It's Hannah on line 1.
Hey, Hannah! Thank you, Catherine. Hey, Hannah, how you doing?
I'm good. Just a quick one. Free the nipples, free the nipples, free the nipples today. Up your bum.
Thank you very much indeed, Hannah. And if anybody's listening to us for the first time, I would consider that one of the more intelligent calls that we that we tend to get. You can call us tonight if you want, and I know we had a few calls last night that we didn't get around to, so Paul and Alan, if you want to call in again, I promise that Ed will tell me immediately that you are on, and you'll jump straight to the front of the queue. The phone number is, dear listener, 0344 499 1000. If you're calling from outside the UK, it's 0044 344 499 1000. It will cost you, if you're in the UK, it'll cost you pennies, and you'll speak to Ed, and he will call you back. Sorry?
Sorry, Paul is on line 1.
Oh, thank you, Ed. When feel free just come on and
just
announce it.
Okay, cool.
Have you got a bell there? Because I've got this.
I haven't. There must be a bell somewhere in this building.
It would be great. This is what we need. If at some point, if you could find a bell, okay. And so you don't make us all jump by going, we've got a caller here. If you could ring the bell 3 times,
okay,
and that will allow us to acknowledge the fact that you are coming on the air with some very, very important information.
Okay, I will go search the bells of TalkSport and find a bell.
Thank you, mate. Paul, stay there. We'll come to you in a bit. This is Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Good evening, dear listener, live from New York City. Now, there is a very strong chance that at some point this connection might fail, because it did literally. We've tested it, and then literally 2 minutes before the show started, the internet dropped. So if it does, amuse yourselves, but we will be back, so don't panic. Let's go to Paul in Stoke Poges. Hey, Paul.
Hi, how you doing?
Mate, I'm having the time of my life. It's boiling hot. You can hear the air conditioning. There ain't no way we're switching that bad boy off. But we are having the time of our lives. I had my first bit of cheesecake today, apple crumble cheesecake. Yes.
It's a city that never sleeps, isn't it?
It literally, it never sleeps, but I have been sleeping because I'm worn out. But honestly, man, we're having so much fun. We're filming stupid stuff. We're meeting really interesting, creative people, from everywhere. We're here at the studios of Keith and the Girl, and if you've not listened to the podcast, I really recommend it. It can be a bit rude, probably not safe for work, or maybe younger ears. That's your decision. I would suggest. I would suggest if you play it to someone under the age of 14, you're a bad parent. But
I've never heard of it. What's it to do with? What?
Keith and the Girl is brilliant. It's this bloke called Keith, and it's a girl called Kanda, and they do a daily podcast, and they've been doing it for about 12 years. And they get comedians on, and writers, and actors, and performers, and they just kind of sit. And it's not. Here's why I like it, because
like an open mic thing.
Well, no, they just sit around and chat. Here's why I like it, right? Because it's not the comedians and stuff. Of course, they're there to sell something generally, but it's not a full hour of. And you can check out my website, and you can find. It's just kind of sat around chatting, being a bit rude, going off on tangents, and every now and then, oh, by the way, I've got a show coming up in a couple of weeks, and if you want tickets, here's where to go. It's just nice. They're kind of like...
your show, really?
Well, this is what I was going to say, Paul. They're kind of like a sweary, better-looking version of me and Kath.
Now, do you know... do you remember it's not what I've called in. I called in last night, and you've called me back tonight.
I know, and I appreciate that, because I know that you and another guy, Alan, called in, and then we just didn't get time, so sorry for that.
The interview you were having, I was enjoying
that. Thank you. Thanks, man.
It was good. It was really good. And one of the things I wanted to say about it was you were in a pizza place.
Yeah, we were last night, pie by the pound, yeah.
I wanted to recommend to you a calzone.
I've had now, is a calzone, is that the one where they fold it over and make like a sort of pasty?
You know you were calling a pizza a pie?
Yeah.
It's a pizza just folded in half.
It's a pizza pasty, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a pizza, it's just like a pasty, yeah.
Pizza pasty.
And always go for a vegetarian one as well.
You've reminded me of something, right? You know, I was a vegetarian for 27 years, okay?
I didn't know.
Well, I was. For the age of 15, I became a vegetarian to impress a girl called Kerry. It worked. And then I stayed a vegetarian for sort of ethical reasons, I guess. And then about 3 years ago, I was cooking meat for my children. I was heating it up. And I just would just taste a little bit of it just to make sure it wasn't cold or it wasn't too hot. And there was this bolognese that my wife had made, and I tested it, and it was delicious. So
you can't knock a homemade bolognese,
mate.
Can you?
Mate, you
can't resist
cannot.
It.
You can. So I kept testing it, and in the end, over about 3 weeks, I was a secret meat eater, right? And I was eating meat without anyone knowing. It was like having an affair. No one knew. And I felt very dirty.
Was it by our whites?
Yeah, it was a secret lemonade drinker, yeah. And in the end, I came out and became a meat eater again for the last 2 or 3 years. Here's the thing, Paul. I'm thinking of becoming a vegetarian again.
Do you know, I'm a pizza snob, right? Domino's and all that, horrible, okay?
No, I love that. No, by the way, if you're watching on Periscope, I'm about to eat some of the most delicious pizza you've ever seen.
Okay, stuffed crust? No, sorry. No.
You don't like stuffed crusts?
No meat on a Hawaiian pizza. Sorry.
Hey, here's the thing. I can't remember what country he's from, but the guy that invented, I think he's American, the guy that invented Hawaiian pizza died at the weekend, aged 90.
This weekend just gone?
Yeah, I heard it on the news. I heard it on the lunatic that thought putting pineapple on top of... When I was in Japan, we went to a pizza restaurant, and they had... Hang on a minute, Paul, hang on a minute, because there's a slight delay. So I will come back to you, but there's ever such a slight delay. When we were in Japan, we went to a pizza restaurant, and they had a thing called a dessert pizza. And what it was a pizza with a cheese and tomato base, but on the top of it, they put like hundreds of thousands, like jelly babies and marshmallows. Imagine that!
You're not going to get that in Napoli, are you?
You are not going. That is not traditional. Go on, what are you going to say?
The reason I phoned in was I had a musician friend of mine just come back from New York last week.
Beautiful.
And he was spending some time in a recording studio out there recording some stuff. Yeah. And he had a free afternoon.
All right.
And he was staying in Greenwich Village in a nice hotel and everything like that.
Yes.
But you were chatting to that guy in the interview last night. He spoke about Brooklyn and how about Brooklyn had been done up and in a nicer.
Oh yeah. We were speaking to Greg Young from the Bowery Boys. Yeah.
Okay, right. What I found him wanted to say was, my friend last week, and I suggest you do it. Okay, it's not that. My friend had a free afternoon.
Yeah.
So he went outside his hotel, held down a cab.
Yeah.
Got in. Cab driver said, "Oh, you're English. Where are you from? London? Yeah. Where do you want to go?" My friend said, "Take me to the middle of Brooklyn. Right to the middle of Brooklyn."
Yeah.
The guy said, "Oh, I'm not sure you want to do this." My friend said, "No, I want to do it because I want to do something there for a reason."
Yeah.
So the cab driver took him there. This is true.
Okay.
My friend said, "Right, just stop here. Drop me off here."
Yeah.
guy said, I really don't want to drop you off here, seriously. Are you sure you're going to be all right? My friend said, yeah. He got out of the cab, and where he pulled up was outside a basketball court.
Oh, yeah.
And there were, some hoodie guys just shooting hoops.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he wanted to play a game of basketball.
Yeah.
With these
if you're telling me to go to Brooklyn and play basketball, first of all, we haven't got any afternoons free because we're doing this flipping show, which is a great pleasure to do, of course, guys. Honestly, we've not got a second to breathe. We haven't even got time to buy bread. Thank you very much indeed. Yes, we have a secret code word to cut, which tells Ed to cut the callers off. I wonder if you can guess what that word is. We've got another Paul. Evening, Paul.
Evening, Ian. How are you, sir? You sound very lively.
Mate, I'm having the time of my life. Honestly, it is hot. It is beautiful. We are doing some funny, stupid, silly stuff. You know, when we got home last night to the hotel, we literally sat at our computers for 2 hours. I was editing videos.
Yeah.
Kath was editing. No, but it was a pleasure to do it. You know, it was a real pleasure to sit there. Because we were making stuff.
Soak up the vibes, don't you? Is the Big Apple still big, or does it feel big?
It feels massive. It feels hot, so it's always weird to tell. But it's massive, and it looks like New York, and it smells like New York, and I love it. I love it. I love it.
Have you been chilling in Central Park?
It's too hot to chill. We went on Sunday afternoon. We went for a wander, and we ended up in Central Park for an hour or so. Yeah.
Do you ever go up Amsterdam Avenue on the Upper West Side?
I don't know it. What's there?
There's a lot of good bars, like where proper New Yorkers go, you know, it's not touristy.
Yeah, that's always the
trick. Up there.
Yeah, that's the trick, is trying to find...
Harlem, you know?
Okay, we'll have a look, because that's the trick, is finding places that are not, you know, like the American equivalent of Leicester Square. You know, I wouldn't go and buy a meal in Leicester Square because I know what the tourist traps are. And it's, you know, it's tricky trying to avoid that. Saying that, we went to a place last night for a bite to eat. And we it kind of looked okay. We've been wandering around and we were tired and this place looked okay. And we went in and had the biggest sandwich. The sandwiches were the size of my head.
Yeah, they love it. They love it. Was it Italian style or German style?
It looked like a kind of chain thing. It was a little bit plasticky in there, but it looked a little bit, but we just were so tired. It's like, let's just go in here and, you know, the food will be okay. But these sandwiches were amazing, Paul.
I used to love going out for breakfast in New York. There used to be some great little fry-up places, you know.
When were you in New York? How long ago?
In the 80s, 3 times in the 80s. I lived on the Upper East Side for a bit.
You lived there?
Yeah, it was a very expensive, plush apartment it was as well.
Wow, fantastic. How come was it for work? Was it for love? Was it on a whim?
Yeah, initially it was for work. And then I had a friend over there I went to stay with. And then I went to study there for a wee while.
Wow, this is
not
incredible.
In New York, in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
But I stayed in New York
what did you study?
So, I was doing European history. I was teaching and studying, you know, long time ago. I was clever back then.
As we get older, Paul, we get stupider.
All my brain cells have gone to pot.
Yeah, mine literally, yeah.
My son's just come in as I was about to make this call.
Oh.
And he said, Dad, will you mind this engagement ring? Because he went to Paris with his girlfriend this weekend.
Wow.
And he proposed to her, and they're going to get married. And I thought, how romantic is that? How beautiful is that?
That's fantastic. What a charmer.
Go to Paris and propose, you know, at the Montmartre in Paris, he proposed to her.
Wow. Oh, well, congratulations to them, and congratulations to you. That's lovely.
Might hit me in the pocket a bit, though, Ian.
But it'd be worth it to see him happy, wouldn't it?
Are you married yourself?
I am married myself, yes. I'm married to my wife, yes.
Oh, excellent. How would you propose anywhere romantic? Or?
Japan. In Japan, by a lake in Japan with Mount Fuji in the background. Yeah, that's where we did it.
Well, you can't beat that, can you? But listen, Ian, I saw that you watched Repo Man, the film. Repo Man.
Yeah, Repo Man. Turns out I hadn't... Because we were talking about Alex Cox, and so he popped in my head, and it was produced by Mike Nesmith of the Monkees, and I was listening to his autobiography, and he mentioned it. And it turns out I'd seen the first 10 minutes of Repo Man before, but got bored of it. But I watched it last week. Flipping it, it's good, isn't it?
Is it that good? Yeah, I can't remember. It's so long since I've watched it.
It is. I didn't realise it gets quite so weird and quite so sci-fi, but it's very funny. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. And then I started reading about Alex Cox.
Remembrance of shootouts. He was going back. He was repossessing cars, wasn't he?
Yeah, but the car that they're trying to repossess has got like an alien in the back in the boot.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Well, listen, Ian, I've just filled you in on what's happening in Britain.
Yeah.
Things have settled down. As soon as you left, Ian, everything just calmed right down.
Hang on a minute. What you saying? You saying it's my fault?
Well, you admitted you voted Labour, didn't you? So
Yes.
I sort of guessed that you were nailed to that mast, you know.
Well, I would have voted Lib Dem. But I thought that Labour stood a slightly better chance in one of the safest Tory seats in Britain. But so have we got a government now? Do we have a government, Paul?
Well, we've got the DUP. They're coming in. They're having their talks, and it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be sound.
Unless
the Tories are going to carry on as normal, I think. So everything's strong and stable in Britain.
And how about the price of bread? Beautifully done. It's going to be strong and stable in Britain now that the Tory government have hitched their wagon to the DUP, unless, of course, you're a woman, gay, bisexual or transgender, or you believe the Earth is older than 6,000 years. If you're, as long as you're a white, straight man. Oh, hang on a minute. Is that the bell?
It is the bell.
You've actually gone and found the bell, you idiot! I love it.
I had to find it in the commentary section, which no one goes down there. It's hiding there in the corner.
What can I do for you, Bell Ed?
There is another caller on the line for you.
So childish. Yes.
There is another caller on the line for you.
Who is the caller?
It is Gatford.
Oh, God. I tell you what, if we take a break, Ed, maybe Gatford will take their hint and hang up while the adverts are on?
I hope so.
Let's give it a go. Here we go.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Good evening, dear listener. This is Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We are coming live from New York. If you listen, that's the air conditioning. And I tell you what, there ain't no way that's getting switched off because New York is in the middle, possibly coming towards the end of a heat wave. And it is... I mean, it's proper. You walk out. We left the hotel this morning. It was about 8:45, 8:30, 9:30. And you walk out and you just start sweating, but it's not going to last forever, and it's fantastic. I'm loving every second of it. Fingers crossed he took the hint and hung up. Let's see. Gatford, did you hang up?
No, sorry about that. I didn't get the hint.
You didn't get the hint. Okay, well, never mind. We'll talk to you. But if you're listening, if you're listening at home, now's a good time to make a cup of tea or go to the toilet or go to bed.
No, I've interestingly got actually interesting things to say. Interestingly.
I bet you haven't, mate.
Let's give it a go anyway.
Okay.
I used to have a pen pal in New York.
Okay, get to the interesting stuff.
It's coming. When I was younger, Sal, I assume it was short for Salvatore, because he was Italian. But I was wondering, I haven't had a letter for him for about 3 years. Any chance if I give you the address, you can pop along?
I don't need the address, mate. I'll just go and stand in Times Square and shout for Sal, and I'm sure he'll turn up.
No, he lives in Tribeca.
Tribeca, does he? Tribeca, is it? Tribeca.
I'm informed that's like a sub-bit of New York.
Tribeca.
And he worked for his dad's pizza company when I was pen paling him.
Okay. Are you? Can I ask, Gatford? Is this a true story, or is it a flight of whimsy based on racial stereotypes?
No. This is true.
Hand on heart.
I swear on the toe on my left foot, it's true.
Let's get to the interesting bit of the call.
That was it, kind of.
Wow, that was it?
I don't really believe you're in New York anyway. I've had this from you before.
Yeah, well, I can tell you we're in New York because we've been eating American bread. Perfect. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Andrea, do you want to chat? There's a microphone there. You can stay there. Now, first things first. Does that reach over? There we go.
Yes,
sounds
good.
There we go. Now, first things first. Andrea or Andrea?
Either way is good with me.
Which way? If you were to phone up your mum and say, "Hey, Mum, it's
Andrea.
You go for Andrea. Good. I prefer that. I just noticed we met a couple of Andreas in America. I'm suspicious of them.
I've never really met a fellow Andrea that I like.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
It's a strange coincidence. I think when people are insistent on a type of pronunciation of my name, they're usually a weirdo.
Yeah.
Because it's such a simple name. It doesn't really matter.
We had a girl at school called Karen, right? And it was spelt C-A-R-E-N, Karen. And so for years we knew her as Karen. And then and this was like when we were like in primary school, so we were sort of like 8, 9, 10. And then one day her mum, there was a parents' evening, and her mum came in and so to that. And the teacher said, and we know because this was relayed to us in class, well, Karen's doing really well, and Karen's doing this, and Karen and Karen and Karen. And the mum said, sorry, why do you keep calling her Karen? Her name's Karen. And she showed, and then she said, well, C-A-R. She said, no, it's K-A-R. And this girl had totally liked to make herself sound cool, had called herself Karen.
It's a weird thing. The other Andrea that I met when I was a kid was a total bitch. Excuse me, a total itch.
No, we can say that in the United Kingdom. We're not as fussy about that word as you are.
Can I say the C word?
No, you... What the hell? Look at Catherine's face, panicking there. No! Hang on.
I was only half listening, but I heard that.
I promise. I'll save you.
Ed, hover over the dumb button. We have quite... I know, listen, you work on the Keith and the Girl show.
I do, yes.
Where they can say anything. They said the C word on there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we can't say... Honestly, we can't say anything. But bitch is kind of okay. But the Fs and the S's and the B's and the C's...
All right.
They are out the window. But yes, this Andrea that you knew.
Well, she was a total drama queen and a really difficult person to hang out with, but everyone would always pair us together during activities because we had the same name.
Yeah. Really?
And also, this is going to...
You two should get on. You've got the same name.
Right, except for hers is more annoying to pronounce. And another thing is, and this is not going to make me sound good, is that she was mentally handicapped.
Okay.
And so I was paired with her to also take care of her, but she was a total...
Yeah.
And so, but I couldn't...
So she was, despite the physical disability she had, she was actually not a very nice person.
Yeah, and she was bullying me all the time.
Wow.
But I couldn't say anything about it, so I was just sort of imprisoned with this Andrea
Here's
character.
the thing, and you have spoken the last great taboo. Some disabled people, they're not very nice, but they're not very nice people.
Right, and she knew, too.
We should introduce you.
Yes.
Now, what is we're in the Keith and the Girl studio. Keith and the Girl is this superb show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, and you'll hear from them later on. We're going to play out an interview we did earlier on. What is your role within the Keith and the Girl organisation?
So I am the associate producer at Keith and the Girl.
That sounds very, very important.
Fancy.
Yes.
I actually used to be an intern for them many years back. So on your show, you were speaking a little bit with them about their crazy fans.
Yeah.
And I used to be a crazy fan. I actually listened to them when I was 15, I think is when I started listening. And I was in Canada. I'm from Canada. And I sort of built this relationship with these New York people.
Yeah.
I learned about stand-up. I learned about the New York comedy scene and everything. I moved here to go to college, and I thought, well, I want to meet them.
Yeah.
You know, I'd met them at live shows.
I want to touch my heroes.
I know, but it's very bizarre because you feel an attachment to them because you know so much about their lives.
Yeah.
So I met them. I applied for an internship. I interned with them.
Wow.
And then I started to sort of be a part of their lives and started doing stand-up. And then I started pursuing stand-up comedy full-time within the last 6 months. And a position opened up here, and they asked me if I wanted the job. And I thought, like, oh, it's perfect job for
and
comedian.
You live literally in the studio.
Get out of my house!
You're very kind because they've gone. They finished for the day, and we are literally in your living room.
I'm on call 24/7
doing the show. Do you make your living out of doing stand-up there? You actually making a buck out of it?
So I do a combination of things. I work here 3 days a week, and then I also have my own podcast, which I make my living off of as well.
Oh, go on. What's that?
It's called the Hot Mess Comedy Hour.
The Hot Mess Comedy Hour. Give us the website. It's on iTunes and all the usual places.
It's at hotmesscomedyhour.com.
And what's on there?
So that show, it's myself and another female comedian, and we interview comedians every week It's similar format to Keith and the Girl, as they are
you
inspirations.
ripped them off. You plagiarised
a little bit.
Fair play, good.
My co-host also used to be a fan, so we both know the
Just
format.
Call it the Stalker Show. Yeah.
Well, we have a different angle. So we asked the comedian what makes them a hot mess in their life. So we've had people who have talked about their alcoholism.
Yeah.
My co-host has spoken about her eating disorder, but it's a fun show. It's like a screwed up kind of Howard Stern interview style show.
Isn't it amazing that I would say in the last 10 years that talking about mental health conditions, on this show we talk about depression a lot and male suicide, and I've talked about being suicidal and loneliness and eating disorders and addictions, whether it be food, drugs, sex, whatever it is. In the last 10 years we've kind of come on leaps and bounds in the amount that it's still a long way to go, but the amount that people have been sharing publicly about this kind of stuff.
Well, I think it's really important. Like I started the show actually shortly after I stopped drinking.
Okay.
So it was kind of a way, it also was a way to showcase sort of the stand-up world. I thought there's all these people out here with so many interesting perspectives, and also dealing with such interesting problems, and I thought it would be good for someone who is dealing with a drinking problem or something to listen to someone else talk about it, because I think it takes the stigma out of it. You get to learn about it. Maybe I can inspire someone to look into their lives a little bit, but there's so much shame around these things. And I feel as if it's important for everyone to have an open dialogue, because we're not alone here.
By the way, if I ask anything that's too much, you can always tell me to jog, and I always catch that. No, I'm getting that vibe from you, which is why I'm going
Ask
in.
Me anything.
So you stopped drinking because it was a problem?
Yeah, I stopped drinking probably, I would say 3 years ago. I've had a few relapses since. But
did you just stop? Did you go to AA? Did you therapy? How's it working for you?
It actually, stand-up kind of acted as my AA in a really funny way.
Wow.
And I went to my first AA meeting a few weeks ago after I did a spin-off show on the Keith and the Girl Network with our booker, Libby Phillips, who is also in the program. And we did like 5 shows about quitting drinking, sort of the whole process from start to finish. But my particular story is that I would say I was a functioning alcoholic. I had a job in fashion. I worked 5 days a week, very successful from the outside. And I was doing stand-up at night and then getting hammered constantly, getting in fights. I got a ticket for public urination and disorderly conduct. I got tackled by a police officer. So I'm like this seemingly well put-together person who's battling with this huge problem and kind of in pretty hard denial about it. And so it got to a point, though, that I was trying to do stand-up and work full-time and deal with all these hangovers and continue to destroy my life in some way or another. And I just got tired of it. I just thought, this has to go, because I can't pursue a career when I also...
you either pursue a career in a life or you pursue an addiction. You know, the two, they kind of go hand in hand for a little while, but at some point one's going to veer off. And the thing, I've spent a lot of time with alcoholics and drug addicts, and the thing is, it's horrific and it's horrible and it's a disease, it's, but they are still responsible, they have to be responsible for the actions and the harm they cause when they're under this disease, and it's terrible for people around it. But flipping heck, some of it's funny.
I know.
Some of it's really, some of it's really, really funny.
Yeah, it's funny, it's fun, there's a spontaneity to it. I still do drugs, so believe me, I still have a good time. But I think you just have to look at how much it's benefiting you versus how much it's hurting you. And at that time in my life, it was hurting me too much. But I also work in the comedy industry, and there are so many different people with addiction problems, so it's tough to be around.
And by the way, I have to say, don't do drugs, kids. Andrea thinks she's having a good time. She's having a miserable time. Don't do drugs. I have to say that, 'cause my boss always thinks, because I haven't had a drink or a drug for 12 years, and I had a relationship with both of those things. And I sometimes talk about, when I used to drink or take drugs, and my boss says, Ian, it sounds like you're encouraging people to take drugs. Now, trust me, I'm not, because I saw what happened. But I'm also, when I put out that thing, hey, don't do drugs, as if the kids at home who are just about to roll a fat one are going to go, hey, this 44-year-old has-been is, put that down, but don't do drugs. Hey, Andrea.
Any way you like it.
Stay steady. Stay there, we'll have a quick break, and then we'll be back with some more.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Hello, dear listener. This is Iain Lee, live from New York. Don't worry, coming up, we've got us having breakfast with Steve Guttenberg. You'll also get to hear the diary that Catherine and I made when we got here on Sunday, where I went to Trump Tower. They said he wasn't in, but I think the guy was in there. But we're talking to Andrea Allen. Have I got you?
Yes,
there we go.
Correct. Hello.
You are the associate producer of Keith and the Girl, which is absolutely fantastic show, and I love it. And it was really weird meeting them after having them in my car and in my headphones and stuff. You're a stand-up yourself.
Yes.
How I don't know what the comedy scene is like in New York now. And I know in London about 20 years ago, if there was an empty room somewhere, there was a club, and there were too many, and it was unsustainable. And I think around the 2000s, a lot of them kind of closed down, and there aren't as many now. What's it like in New York?
There's a variety of different places to do stand-up in New York. There's different types of scenes. So there's the clubs, and I'm in a few of the clubs, but I don't perform every night in a club.
Yeah.
I actually there's a lot of smaller clubs or like art spaces type things, bars, music venues, that there's stand-up as well. So it's sort of, there's different scenes, as I imagine there is in London. So there is sort of the indie stand-up scene, the alternative scene, which is, people with differing point of views. And then in the city, in the clubs, there's what we call road hacks, maybe.
I'm here all week. Now, my wife, she's a great lady, but sometimes I just don't get it what she's doing with the slippers. What's that kind of
ladies, that kind of guy. So it's kind of a choose your own adventure. There's open mics everywhere. There's a place called the Creek in the Cave, which is in Long Island City, which is probably where comedians mostly hang out, I would say. It's a club. It's also a restaurant. There's a downstairs workout room where comedians are doing open mics every night, practicing in front of one another. So it's kind of, I like to do as many different types of rooms as I can. But as you said, with the oversaturation, I feel as if we're in a bit of a boom right now with stand-up. There's so many people that come to New York who want to be a part of it. There's always a new wave of comedians, and then you watch them get frustrated and then quit because it's also a fiercely competitive stand-up scene.
Well, I remember, Han, if you want to come and join us, then feel free. Come and join. You'll have to share a microphone. I can only apologise for that. But,
that's okay.
Han also works on the show. What's your role on the show? You were the busiest out of everybody I saw today.
Well, I am in the very prestigious role of, I thought it was cute that they called me an apprentice, but I'm a dang old intern.
And so, but you were doing everything, man.
I learned from the greatest.
But you're a comedian as well.
I am.
And have you always lived in New York?
No, I'm originally from Kansas.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, the world famous Kansas.
Yes, absolutely. America's toilet.
Is it? I only know it from Wizard of Oz. I've never seen it or been there.
It's a great place to drive through on your way to Colorado. Really.
How long have you been in New York?
I'm coming up on 3 years.
And why did you come? Was it
comedy,
showbiz?
100%
really?
comedy.
Yeah. And how's it going?
It feels pretty great. I mean, I kind of, obviously I've fallen in with the right people.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful place to be.
Yeah.
And I feel really lucky to be here. So.
Well, it's funny. I was going to say to Andrea that when I was you could carry on. Don't worry. When I was started doing stand-up, it was people were doing stand-up because they wanted to get to a sitcom or they wanted a chat show. They kind of saw it as a means to an end. And then about 6 months in, people go, actually, this is really hard work, and I'm not cut out for this. And you do have to be kind of really focused to get anywhere doing it, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would agree with that a lot.
And what are you playing similar clubs? You cheered almost when Andrea mentioned a club there.
Yeah, the Creek in the Cave. Just because it's just like such a comedians club. It's owned by a comedian, a lady comedian.
A lady comedian. Do you know there's still a thing in Britain where some people go, yeah, okay, but girls can't be funny. And there's still that kind of.
Disagree with them wholeheartedly.
Oh, me totally.
Also, come here because mostly women book our shows. So.
Really, is that how it works over here?
I'd say so.
It's a weird thing. Yeah. Okay, girls can't be. And I think in the last sort of 3, 4, 5 years in the UK, that attitude has been shifted around by there've been a few more kind of female comedians sort of rising to the top, but it's still in Britain a very white middle class male thing. You turn on the TV, and it's generally. Those white middle-class men that are doing it, that are standing there in their smart suits.
The straight white male is very popular here as well. We also have that model.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, too, like, whenever I book my podcast or any show that I'm involved in, I always look at it, and I want to make sure that there are a diversity of gender and races on it because of that situation, and it's not like I'm giving away this pity booking. I actually think the women want so badly to prove that they belong here because there's been this whole stigma that women aren't funny, and they try harder. I mean, I look at the women in the New York stand-up scene, and I think they are way stronger than the men, and it's not a bias because I'm a woman. I'm not including myself.
And do you see them, women that are funnier than men, not getting as far as men in terms of the career because they're women?
I mean, I think that's kind of definitely going by the wayside these days. But do you find, Andrea, when you are booking your shows, I book a couple of shows that I produce, do you find that when men ask to be on your show, they just straight ask? And then when a woman asks, she says, she comes to your show, first of all, thanks you for having a great show, shows you a tape, and then asks to be on your show. Whereas men are just like, I think I'd be a great fit for your show. Oof.
Yeah, I get that all the time. I think, it is a wonderful thing now that I think female voices are wanting to be heard. I think the industry is catching up and seeing the demand. Like Amy Schumer, for example, she's not my favorite stand-up. I love a lot of her early stuff. I love some of it, not all of it, but I think the industry seeing her become this meteoric Goliath so quickly, I think they finally were like, okay, we need to pay attention to this.
She's possibly opened doors.
Yes, she has busted a certain ceiling open a little bit, that there's commercial potential there.
By the way, you saying about men asking for jobs and women being slightly more around. I couldn't even ask anybody for a job. I'm just waiting for people to come to me because I can't even do that. That's my low self-esteem issues. Me just going, no, you don't want me. I mean,
well, that's the thing is that I think a lot of women almost apologize when they ask for things that they deserve.
Yeah.
And I now make a point of, I'm always polite, like the way that Han was saying. That is the way to do it. You have to respect what you're asking for. But I ask for things all the time because, there are men asking for it who suck. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, you got that? I should totally have that.
Hang on one second. I need to do a tiny bit of business. Edward.
Hello.
Please, may I have an out time?
57:55.
Thank you so much indeed. Give us some names. Give us some names of people that we won't have heard of that perhaps we should be keeping an eye out for, or we should actively seek out. And by the way, I'm not a massive Twitter fan or technology fan, but it does mean that people listening in the UK, if you mention a name, that there's a strong chance that person's going to be on Twitter, or that there are going to be ways that a small act in New York is going to be able to be seen by someone in the UK. So give us a name or two.
She's writing down exactly the first name that came to my mind. That was Aparna Nancharla.
Aparna Nancharla. Now, who is she?
Aparna Nancharla, I believe she's Indian. Is that her descent? Yeah. She's already quite well known in the United States, and she's to us she's majorly famous.
Yeah.
But she has a super dry sense of humor. She talks a lot about social anxiety. She's kind of like this inward, private-seeming person, but is so sharp and funny. Dina Hashem is another female comedian who is big in the New York scene, who I've always loved. Great writer. I'm trying to think.
I know I've put you on the spot.
No,
terribly.
that's okay. Amber Nelson, who's no longer really in New York. She kind of travels around a lot, but she's someone who I saw so much in the scene when I first started. I was looking at this comedian and being like, oh my God, this woman is devastatingly funny.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah. The two go hand in hand just simply because they have a wonderful show that they're getting ready to wrap up called The Warm Up, but you can find them individually.
The Warm Up?
Yeah, you can find them individually on them Twitter nets. Marie Faustin and Sydney Washington, they are fantastic. Let's see who else here.
Should we name some men?
I suppose we could give a shout out to some men.
I'm going to let you name one man.
One man.
One man.
Oh, all right. Yes, Daniel Simonson is wonderful. I love.
Is he the Norwegian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Daniel.
Daniel's wonderful.
I know Daniel.
We love him. Yeah.
He's brilliant. He was on a brilliant series in the
live.
UK called House of Fools with Vic and Bob. Yeah. Daniel is hilarious.
He's in New York now.
Well, is he?
Yeah.
Well, we want him back. Hey, listen, we got to go to the news. Have you got plug websites, Twitters, anything you want to plug? You got 30 seconds.
Sure, I'm on Twitter at Hannahbiotics, HANNAHBIOTICZ, and then you can find me more often than not on Instagram at Han HANN Cowger COWGER. That's it.
There we go. Andrea, anything you want to point people to?
Follow my podcast, The Hot Mess Comedy Hour. Anywhere where you find podcasts, we'll be there. And you can follow my Twitter at Andrea Comedy. Snag that name. And also you can follow my Instagram at Andrea_Allen88.
Both of you've got my email address. Both of you email me that, and we'll tweet all of that later on in the week.
Thank
and
you so much.
Thank you so much. You are provided. You've looked after us wonderfully.
Of course, thank you.
You are very attentive, and thanks so much for coming and chatting.
Of course,
I appreciate
thank
it. We are coming live from New York City. Catherine is being very quiet, which is a joy. Don't hand her the microphone.
Hey, I hope you've enjoyed your playtime.
We have to go to the ads.
Talk Radio.
By the way, I know we're giving out loads of Twitter handles and web addresses. Don't worry, I'm going to write a blog the end of this week, beginning of next week, and I'm going to post all of the information on there. So if you've not got any of it, don't panic. Your phone calls, please. You are listening to Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Get an earful of unusual nocturnal emissions with radio's Lord of Misrule, Iain Lee. No relation, thank God.
Unfiltered night talk with the original king of unconventional conversation. Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Hang on, Britain. There's a couple advertising for a nanny. They've lost 5 nannies because of ghosts. I don't believe that for a second. I think that story needs a little bit more investigation. You don't lose 5 nannies because of ghosts. What a load of... Well, I know what I'm thinking. I won't say it on the radio because it's libelous, but I'm thinking it. This is Late Nights with Iain Lee. We are coming to you live from New York. Catherine is busy editing away in the corner. If you want to call in, you are welcome to call in, dear listener. It's the usual number. It will cost you the usual amount. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Sorry, I was eating some pizza. The pizza here is just the best in the world. It's incredible. And this pizza has been sat next to me for an hour and a half, and it's just kind of winking at me, and I can't eat it because I'm doing a radio show. But we're going to play some bits and pieces in a bit. Ed, do we have any phone calls waiting?
Not at the moment.
Screw those losers. In that case, what we're going to do is have a listen to this. When we got here on... we've had to explain to our boss and our families that we are not here. Yes, it's a jolly. Of course it's a jolly. We're in New York City. We're eating good food and we're meeting wonderful people. But we are running around like lunatics. We're getting up really early. We're having to set our alarms to get up. We are going out and we're meeting people for breakfast, and we're travelling all over the city, and basically it's a pretty constant thing that's going on. So we are recording all kinds of bits and pieces. And if you go to youtube.com/rabbithole, you'll see some of the videos that we put up there, including there's a very 11 o'clock show style one where we talk about high fives. But. On the first day, we got to the hotel, we dropped our stuff off in our rooms, and we said we should just go straight out and record, kind of the first things that happen, our first thoughts on the city, and just see where we end up. So please, dear listener, I invite you to listen to mine and Kath's Day 1 New York City Diary. Hey, how come you've got no clothes on?
This is for feminism, women's rights.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Tell me, we're doing a show for Britain on the radio.
Okay.
So you're in we're in Times Square, are we?
Yes.
And you're naked. You've got some pants on, and you've got your boobs painted.
Yes.
What is this? This is for women's rights.
Yes, feminism. If a man could go without a shirt, so can we. So we make it a little bit more creative with paint, and we take pictures for tips.
You're saying tips?
Yes, tips.
How is this promoting feminism?
How is this promoting feminism?
Yeah.
Well, we out here with no shirt on.
I can see that, and Yep.
Yeah.
You're still not. I'm nervous. I don't want to touch you. You've still not explained. You don't mean you don't. You be nervous. Although you're the one with your boobs out. You've still not quite explained with my hand how this is promoting women's rights.
I don't really know how to explain it.
Okay.
But we out here for a movement. This is feminism.
There's a movement going on.
Free the nipple. So we come out here and paint, and we take pictures with tourists from all over different cities, states, and we make money that way, and we donate it. We donate it to
nipples.
Yeah, nipples.
Free the nipples. Free the nipples.
Free the nipples.
Thanks. Have a great day. Free your nipples. Hey, can I ask with the nipples?
No
nipples. You don't want to free the nipples?
I am free.
Your nipples are free? Okay. Alrighty. This gentleman looks like he's enjoying... Excuse me, sir. Are you enjoying the nipples?
No.
No. I'm enjoying the nipples. They're nipples. Everyone's embarrassed to admit they're enjoying the nipples. Sir, are you enjoying the nipples?
Sorry, no.
No? Okay. Don't be embarrassed.
Where's Buzz Lightyear?
Let's go. Yeah, Buzz Lightyear's over here. Hey, Buzz, are you enjoying the nipples? No, Buzz does not enjoy nipples. None of the plastic toys have nipples, do they? Have you got nipples?
No.
No nipples for Buzz. Okay.
Interviews.
Huh?
Not like an interview.
You okie dokie. No, me neither. Okay. Well. Have a look at this. Your actual Brill Building. The Brill Building. We're just walking down. We got a bit lost, and we're on Broadway, and we just saw this building, which is being renovated. Brill Building, where all of the great songwriters of the 60s, the American songwriters of the 60s would come here. Your Carole Kings, your Neil Diamonds, your Neil Sedaka's. They would come here every day, 9 o'clock in the morning, go up to a little booth and sit there and write songs, and throughout the day we'll go off to Don Kirshner and say, hey, I've written this song, it's I'm a Believer. Do you think you can sell it to anybody? And this is it, man. This is where most of my favourite music was written. In here. The Brill Building. Your actual Brill Building. I'm humbled. Well, we're just wandering around New York trying to find the spot that John Lennon was gunned to death, and lo and behold, Catherine, look where we've turned up.
It's the Trump International Hotel and Tower.
It's where the whole world was gunned to death. Now, I've got a plan. I'm going to go in there and see if I can speak to Donald Trump, the President of America.
This is a bad idea.
Why?
One, because we haven't asked permission. Two, He's playing golf somewhere. It's a weekend.
You, Catherine, this is your problem. You've not got the balls. I'm going to go in there. Okay. I'm going to secure an interview with Donald Trump, and I'm going to show you a thing or two about how to do radio.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll see you in about 2 minutes when your ass hits the sidewalk.
Okie doke. Right. I'm going in to Trump International Hotel and Tower to speak to Donald Trump. Now, hang on a second. They have a rule about crossing the road, like in the middle of the road, don't they? It's jaywalking. Can you get shot for jaywalking?
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Here we go. I'm going to go and speak to Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America. Here we go. Hello, I've come to speak to Donald Trump.
Donald Trump?
Is he here?
No, this is John and George restaurant. So.
Oh, am I in the wrong building?
Yes.
Is it next door?
That's the private residence, so he's not there either.
Is he not there?
No, this isn't any location that has affiliation.
I've come all the way from London to speak with Donald Trump.
This is not the right location, sir.
Where would I need to go?
No idea.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Can you do a Donald Trump impression for the radio?
No.
Oh, man. Can I ask a question? Can the police, if you jaywalk, can the police shoot you?
No.
No, they can't. Perfect. Thanks very much. Thank you. Gonna be honest, was a little bit disappointing. I suspect he was up there, but they just didn't want me to talk to him. Yeah, he's in there, but the security said it's probably best not to go and talk to him and to come back later when it was a bit darker under the cover of the night. So that's that. Let's go and find where John Lennon was murdered. Oh my God, that's it. That's it. That's it, Kath, blimey. Let's go and have a look. I feel a bit weird coming to a tourist attraction where someone was murdered.
Look, there's the guardhouse that you see on the newsreel footage and stuff. It is a weird thing.
This is really strange. I've been to New York maybe 6-7 times. Oh, there's an ice cream van. It's here. And I've never come. It's a little bit further up this road that runs parallel to Central Park than I was expecting. Flipping heck, this is really weird because I've seen this on the news. I've seen photos of it in books and online. I've seen reconstructions, and this is it. And this is it. He got the car, very noisy. The car pulled up here. He got out. Mark Chapman came up to him. Excuse me, Mr. Lennon. Boom, here. There's the guard's booth there. I mean, it really is. It's an incredible building in a city that is full of steel and glass and lots of new buildings. I mean, this probably isn't that old, but it looks very Gothic. There are these huge gas lamps outside, and huge. What's that? 3 foot from top to bottom? Gas lamps. These ornate gates that lead off to a dark kind of entrance. There's a bronze, gold-coloured guard's booth with a guard. There's more of these lamps. These amazing windows. I mean, huge windows. My architecture terminology is not great. I would say this is kind of Gothic. It's got a Gothic feel to it. It's a really imposing building. And boy, oh boy, doesn't it stand out when you turn around and look at all of the other buildings, these kind of bland brown bricks. And then you've got this amazing thing. It's incredibly beautiful, but very dark and sombre.
You can totally see why they used it for Rosemary's Baby. There's something quite, I don't know, quite spooky and demonic about some of the some of the, I mean, the wrought iron gates and, yeah, very spooky.
Well, that's the Dakota building. Let's, I'll tell you how we can make this work. Let's pose for photographs, but we are getting the photographs because this is where they filmed Rosemary's Baby, not because of the other thing. How's about that?
Okay, fair enough. So I'll be the Antichrist.
Let's do that, and then we'll head off into Central Park. Well, having left the Dakota building that's over there, we've come into Central Park, and here is the John Lennon Memorial, and it's... I remember I brought my mum here when I brought her to New York about... When did we come to New York? Gosh, it must have been about 9 or 10... It must have been about 10 years ago. And we brought my mum here, and she loved it, and there was a fella scattering rose petals, then asking for $1 afterwards. But it's a place where people, you know, it's nice and chill. People come and hang out, and they sing songs, Beatles songs, and they have their pictures taken. I can see 3 guitars, all primed and ready to go. But, you know... I'm going to go this way.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Good evening, dear listener. This is Iain Lee, live from New York City. We are in the studios of Keith and the Girl. If you don't know who they are, they do a fantastic podcast. It's very funny, it can be quite rude, and it's brilliant, and they do it every single day. And in the last hour of the show, you're going to hear a chat that we, Katherine and myself, did with them earlier on. And also, if you missed it, I recorded a show with them today. Andrea, is the show that we did today? We're all sharing microphones.
Hello.
Is that up for people to download now, or does that go up tomorrow, or how does that work?
That show will actually be out Friday.
Friday.
But if you go to the Keith and the Girl Facebook page,
Yes.
which you should,
Of
there's
course.
plenty of entertaining things there. You can watch their interview of
Yes.
you guys
Yep.
on the Keith and the Girl show.
Fantastic.
It's like a Facebook Live,
Yeah.
but you can watch the whole video
Brilliant.
thing. So watch it there, or check out the show on Friday, keithandthegirl.com.
Thank you very much indeed. There you go. You see, that is excellent selling, which is something me and Katherine, we need to learn how to sell.
We really do.
You finished editing now?
I have, yeah.
You
Thanks
sure you're
for all the
editing? You weren't
swears.
just updating your Facebook status?
I was enjoying the interviews if I'd heard it for the first time, but mostly I was listening out for F words, C-bombs.
I was showing off to them quite a lot by using my bad language.
But they're very show-offable. I mean, they're the sort of people you want them to like
You want to impress. Andre's on the line. Evening, Andre.
Hiya. Another day, another dollar.
Isn't it?
How's it going, Ian? Yeah?
It's going very well, thank you.
Yeah. How's the Big Apple then? Good?
It is very American, yes.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not. It's actually. It's very cosmopolitan.
Oh, that's what I like to hear. Bit like London?
No, I don't. I'm not interested in what I'm saying. Of course he isn't. No.
How's Kirby Cath liking it?
Well, why don't you ask her?
I'm getting curvier, Keith, quite frankly. Keith.
Oh, nice.
Andre, because I'm eating a lot.
Don't worry. He's not interested in any of the answers that we say. He just wants to get to a gag.
Go on.
No, I've got no guess. I just want to give you a quick ring and say, get on out there. Sounds good, yeah?
Have you ever
been in that?
Yes. Have you ever been to New York yourself?
I'm going in September, actually.
What are you going for?
It's Ed Sheeran in the Bronx.
You're going to New York to see... Yeah. Hang on a minute. Is this a set-up for a gag?
No, it's true.
You're going to New York in September to see Ed Sheeran.
English Ed Sheeran from England, who lives in England.
And does shows in England.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go to New York to see him.
Yeah, 'cause it's good. It's 3 nights in America. It should be good, yeah?
Well, apart from the Ed
New York.
Sheeran bit.
In the Ed Hotel. No, Ed Sheeran.
What's your favourite Ed Sheeran song?
Probably loads. I like them all.
You like them all, do you? Okay. Name one. Yeah. Sing us a bit of one, Andre.
Oh, no, I can't hear. Not now. No. I only called you to say, really, not
my
just make sure you have a good time.
Ed Sheeran song is the only Ed Sheeran song I know. It's also my least favourite. She played the fiddle in an Irish band. She fell in love with an Englishman.
That song is poo.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Ian, are you an Englishman in New York at the moment?
Yes.
Don't forget, Englishmen walk, they never run, yeah? That's another song for you.
Thank you very much indeed for calling, Andre. Hey, Andre?
Yeah?
You know when you make a sandwich...
Yeah?
What ingredients do you need?
Let me think about this one.
You think
Butter?
about it. Yeah?
Cheese?
Yeah?
Sauce? Pickle?
Possibly. Sauce and pickle, yes. So that's the filling of the sandwich. What would you use for the outside of the sandwich?
Nothing.
Well, then that's not a sandwich, is it?
No, that's just cheese and pickle.
Of course it is.
Well, what? You need 2 slices of...
Dough?
Flip it.
Oh, no, bread.
Thanks for calling, Andre. 0344 499 1000 is the... that was harder than I expected. I don't know why I expected it to be easier than that. Cleo's on the line. Good evening, Cleo.
All right, man.
Hey, Flip, look at his yodeling my name. This is wonderful. Yes.
Practicing my yodel, been practicing yodels.
I'm practicing yodeling every single day. Yes, sir, go on.
I've got a question for the New Yorkers in the little room there.
Yes.
There was a documentary many moons ago about people living under New York.
Oh, I had someone recommend that film to me, and I found it quite dull.
Did you? I loved it, mate.
Well, I say dull. I only watched the first minute. I have a very short attention span. I am an MTV generation, so in fact, I don't even know if I watched that much. So I take back everything I've just said.
But like a typical modern human, though, I watched it thinking, "Oh, that's awful," and and then just completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
So I want to know if they still exist.
Yes, they do. I can tell you that. Yes, they do.
The little people living underground.
I hope that answers your question.
It does. So the one.
Hey, listen. When we come back, right? I mentioned this yesterday. This is happening. I have discovered something in New York that's better than any drug, better than any relationship, any sex. It's better than anything. Chocolate cola.
See, I don't know.
But shut up, man. You do know. You do know, Cleo. You just don't want to admit that you know. And I am going to become I'm going to become Britain's largest and indeed only importer of chocolate cola, and I'm going to make it. This is how I'm going to make my millions.
You could make a lot of money, mind, it has to be said. But
yeah, I'm going to make millions.
I revere chocolate so much, I can't really imagine the thought of it tarnished with Coca-Cola.
It's not tarnished with cola, it's improved upon.
Can you imagine, right, the high you get from chocolate, which people get, was it endorphins, the release or something?
Sure, why not?
But can you imagine that? And if they still had cocaine and coke?
Yes, I can. Isn't it weird that they did used to put cocaine in coke? I think that's the craziest thing in the world.
It's amazing.
But because it was a tonic, it was sold as a tonic, wasn't it? So they'd go, hey, this will make you feel better. Yeah, of course it will, for 2 hours, and you'll talk rubbish, and you'll think you're a game show host, and then you'll come crashing down after you've bored everybody senseless.
Anyway, can I teach one of your guests some Geordie?
No.
You don't want us to do that?
Well, because we have limited technological facilities here, so that make. Why do you? Oh, I don't like. I can teach you, Geordie. Why, hey, man?
Yeah, that's quite good. You sound like an Indian doing a Geordie accent, basically, though.
Why, hey, man? That is what I'm talking about, man. I'm gonna come over there, man, and I'm gonna sort you out, like. Oh, that was it.
Even
I'm hovering.
I can hear Kath Winston. That's bad, man.
I am hovering around Geordie there, and I think you should appreciate that. Why, hey, man, I'd like to go to shops and buy some bread. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. How the Brill Building was in that little package we played, wasn't it, I think? Yes. How amazing was this? We're walking down the street, getting the funniest looks from everyone we meet. And we were a bit lost. And we were trying to find somewhere to go, and then we were stopped and we were kind of looking around, and then suddenly I went, man, this is the Brill Building. This is the Brill building where loads of my favourite songs were written. I'm a Believer. The Locomotion would have been written in there. Cherry Cherry by Neil Diamond. Calendar Girl by Neil... They were all written in this building.
Where Carole King met her husband.
Yeah, Carole King at the age of 14 would go in there knocking on doors saying, hey, I'm a songwriter. Would you like to hear my songs?
My name is Carol Klein. I
Yeah.
can play the piano.
Incredible.
Wonderful.
And it was a real thrill because going to the vibe at the Dakota, because of what happened there, and also because it's a weird-looking place.
Yeah.
It is a very, very dark vibe there. Very dark vibe indeed. And it was kind of negated completely by going to the Brill Building, which was I mean, you couldn't look in, you couldn't go in. It was being redone, so all the windows were boarded up. But what a joyous, celebratory place to walk past.
Yeah, it's like the palace of pop music.
Yeah, it's where Boyce and Hart, well, Boyce and Hart were more in LA, but they did stuff there. Neil Diamond, Neil Sedaka, all these people were there. It was just incredible. Hey, Ed.
Hello.
Did we hit the dump button? Did we say something bad?
No.
It just came up on our screen, dump.
No.
Yes.
Well, I did just take
censoring us?
I did just make your screen flash to take something off it. That could be it.
Okay, well, it said the word dump came up, and me and Kath are going, hang on, did we say something rude?
Ed might be censoring us, like every time we talk about the Monkees or pop music.
Yeah, it makes he makes a good point. Perhaps we should be censored, and I don't think we can ever talk enough about the joyous event and also the horrific event that was Ellen's Stardust Diner. That was, I mean, wonderful but terrifying, and I think I'm going to need to work through a lot of emotions after spending an hour in there.
I'm definitely a friend of Dorothy, right? But
Yeah.
even that might have been verging on too camp for me. It was wonderful. We went in there, and your face lit up because you kind of caught the vibe straight away.
My face lit up because I kind of thought that they might ask me to get up and sing Frank Mills from Hair, and as you know, my rendition of Frank Mills is second to none.
Well,
But they didn't. So that disappointed me.
no, and I said, why don't you go and ask? But you didn't dare, because actually they all got up and they all had proper Broadway voices, didn't they?
The vibrato, I struggle with the vibrato. That's the thing I struggle
To be
with.
honest, some of them were struggling
But
with the vibrato too.
steady,
They were a bit, come on.
Steady.
But, it's hard.
It's unusual for you to be the mean one.
I know. But it's hard to
Yeah.
wait tables and sing, so I'm going to cut them some slack.
Yeah. The food was great.
Oh, my goodness.
This is the thing.
The food is big.
So, do you see, when we went, and you're going to hear Steve Guttenberg in a couple of minutes, with the chat we had with him today, the nicest man in the world, and we met him at this diner at his breakfast. And I was admiring the size of the breakfast that was being delivered. But then did you see the healthy breakfast that was kind of like yogurt and all kinds of fruits, bananas and melons?
But it was a fruit bowl.
But even that was massive, and that was for one person.
Yeah.
And it was huge.
Yeah.
It's like healthy, but in supersized portions.
I feel like it's like the never-ending dinner. I get a plate of food here, and when I finish and I can eat no more, and the belt is undone, and I'm feeling like they need to roll me out of there,
Yeah.
I look down at the plate, and there's the same amount of food on there.
I love it. Oh, man, I love it. And boy, oh, boy, they know how to cook here. They know how to cook. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you'd like to give us a call. And you guys, you know the score. You can call him. And you can talk about New York. You can always keen to hear your New York stories, good or bad. We're singing its praises because we have both fallen in love with it. But if you had a lousy time and you want to phone up and say you had a lousy time, that's fine. Any recommendations of places that you think we should go? Although our schedule is very tight, we'll tell you exactly how tight it is in a bit. But also, as per usual, you can call in with absolutely anything you want to get off your chest, anything you feel that is, you want to say, you can do that. Even though we're in New York, you're still calling a UK number, okay? So don't panic about that. It's 0344 499 1000. You'll speak to Ed, and he'll call you back and whack you straight on the air. You're listening to Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Thank you very much, dear listener. Now, But honestly, the schedule this week is packed. Tomorrow morning at 10, we're meeting Kenny Kramer, who Kramer was based on in Seinfeld, and we're going to meet him in the cafe where Larry David first met Jerry Seinfeld. We are also then going to WFMU. See you later on, Han. Take care. Bye-bye. We're going to WFMU, where we're going to hang out there, and we're going to meet Amanda Nazario, who I've been kind of like, sort of, I guess, electronic pen pals with for the last couple of years. I'm going to meet her, which is a thrill, and we're going to meet some of the hosts there. We're doing the show from there. Tomorrow night... Is it Stephen Page tomorrow? No, it's John Ronson tomorrow night. John Ronson and Maeve Higgins doing the show, so we're going to that. Thursday, now that the rabbit hole's been cancelled because the guy that booked the room was a dick, we are going to be meeting maybe Imani Coppola for lunch. We have no idea where we're going to do the radio show from because we were going to do it in a hotel room, and the hotel internet doesn't work in mine. Have we tried yours?
Let's try mine.
We'll try yours and see if we can get it to work in there. And then Thursday night... That's Stephen Page live. And then Friday morning, we're meeting John Ronson. And then Friday night, if we can, we might go to Imani Coppola's art show. It's action-packed, so we haven't got a spare moment. But this morning, we got to meet Steve Guttenberg, who is the nicest man in the world. I met him years and years ago when he was doing pantomime, and we have kind of kept in touch ever since then. It was the first time you'd met him.
Yeah, and what a charmer.
Oh, isn't he? Mm. And what's so cool is he had a full day of interviews, like 20 interviews to promote the show that he's doing. Ballers. But he squeezed us in, Ballers. He squeezed us in to do another interview. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Mr. Steve Guttenberg. It is, well, day 3, I guess we can call this, Catherine. Wake up, Catherine, wake up.
No, too early.
We have been riding a lift for about 10 minutes because every time we get downstairs, I go, oh, I forgot. So we've been up this, and this is the last time we're going up, but I've not put any pomade in my hair. Am I winding you up yet?
It's too early, mate.
Okie dokie. But this is important because we're meeting Steve Guttenberg for breakfast and then filming with Keith and the girl. So I've got to look... Oh, hang on. I've got to look good. You never know. Steve might say... Oh, there we go. Steve might say...
He's not talking to you because your hair's not done.
Yeah, it could be. So let me do that. Right. Hair is done. I'm looking cool. Let's go and meet Steve Guttenberg. We've just shared a lift with a family, and this boy, this heat, the youngest boy, just covered from head to toe in bites, bruises, got a black eye. That's kids. Well, it's not all kids, because my eldest isn't like that, but my youngest is covered in it.
So is mine. That would be the sign of a really good holiday, if she was covered in all that stuff.
Hey, look at this traffic. It's not moving at all. And we are now a little bit late for breakfast with Mr. Steve Guttenberg. Something's happening. I don't know if a road's closed or something. Let's see if we can get a cab. Taxi! Oh, let me squeeze in. Thank you very much, man. We are going today to 1725 Broadway between 54th and 55th, please. Thank you. Right, we made it. Applejack's, diner. Look at the size of those breakfasts.
That'll be just the ticket.
Look at that fruit one, looks healthy, doesn't it? Do we go in here? Yeah. Let's see. There we go. I'm with this gentleman here. Mr. Steve Guttenberg. How are you doing, buddy? Man? Lovely to see you. This is Catherine.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Steve Guttenberg.
Hi, buddy.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Now, here's the thing. We met... we're trying to work out... I thought it was like 6 years ago, but I didn't have kids, so it must have been 8 or 9 years ago when you were doing pantomime in the UK.
Right. We had an interesting meeting. I was walking down the block, and you tried to hold me up, and I didn't have any money on me, and when you were nice enough to say, well, how about I'll take your friendship?
Exactly.
And I said, okay, here it is.
Here's the thing, Catherine, right? He did the thing that when he did it, I thought, oh, he's just saying it. He came onto the radio show I was on and was interviewed, and we were really excited, you know, because he's Steve Gutenberg. And then at the end, I think you may have just arrived that day or the day before, and at the end you said, you do anything tomorrow night? And I went, no. He said, oh, well, if you fancy, you know, going out for a meal or something, here's my number. I was like, yeah, all right, okay, Mr. Showbiz, smooth move, well done. And then I thought, sod it, do you know what, I'm going to call him up. And we went out for dinner.
Yeah, we did. We did.
And then
and you have very good table manners.
Thank you very much.
You do.
Nearly all of the food went in my mouth.
Nearly all. And the rumors that you don't have good table manners are wrong. They're wrong. They're wrong.
And we met you for breakfast, and you were a delight. Now, I've got a question for you. 8-9 years
Did
later.
We have Chinese food?
We had Japanese food.
Japanese food.
Yes.
Right.
We had Japanese food where they cook it on the table. Here's a question for you. 9 years ago, now, how the hell are you looking younger now than you did nearly a decade ago?
Time has gone backwards. You don't understand. This is 1973 right now. We've jumped in that time machine. You thought it was a boat. It wasn't a boat. Well, you thought it was a plane.
What do you do? Have you got, is there?
I'm going to tell you the secret.
Go on.
Clean living. Clean living. I wake up at 7 in the morning. I go to sleep at 8 in the morning. I have an hour. I'm up an hour, and then I go right to sleep. Clean living.
But everything you cram so much into that hour.
I cram so much into that hour. 8 hours of work in 1 hour.
Thank you for speaking to us, because I know that you've got a whole day of press. You're doing one of those junkets where.
I'm on the. Look at that.
Is it you got a phone call? Take the call. Take it. Take it.
Hold on.
Take it.
Hey, Sue.
This is a busy man. Hey, Kath. Steve Gutenberg.
All right, Carly, are you there?
12-year-old me is really thrilled to bits.
Right,
in fact,
Carly.
39-year-old me is pretty chuffed as well.
About 47-year-old you.
I'll tell you in about 10 years.
Love you guys. Love you.
Is it your sister?
My little sister. My niece is taking a graduate school test to get into grad school for physical therapy.
Oh, wow.
So they're on the way, and I want to wish them luck.
Exciting. Have you got brothers and sisters then? Just one sister? Or?
I do. I have two sisters.
Yeah. Older or younger?
Both younger, both little sisters. One lives in Jersey, one lives in Phoenix, actually, outside in Scottsdale.
Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah.
And what do they... what do they think being Steve Gutenberg's sister?
They can't believe it. They just can't believe how lucky they are.
Yeah.
Every day they... well...
Because my sister kind of... I have a, tiny little bit of a name over in the UK. My sister enjoys it.
Don't be...
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
But sometimes it winds my sister up, She can get a bit frustrated by it.
Yeah, well, I think it's weird being the brother or sister or the parent or friend of a celebrity. It's weird because... when you go out into public, the rules change, and that kind of sucks for... It's good for the celebrity, but it sucks for the people that are with the celebrity.
It's hard. I've found girlfriends I've had have found it hard that and this happened years ago. But people would come up and would talk to me, and almost sometimes actually even push her out of the way, so that she was almost non-existent, and that's tough for people.
Well, it becomes also you have to put on your celebrity voice and your demeanor, and you have to be a certain way, and it cuts into their social time. And I've done it with my friends and some friends who have more celebrity than I have, and it's a pain in the ass because you really want to talk to them about, let's say, where do you buy the best nail clipper, and then someone comes up and goes, oh my God, I saw you in Star Wars, you were so amazing. It takes it out of it, and I think that it's a lot of work for people who are friends with someone famous. It's tough, and it actually, even for you, the celebrity, you feel a little embarrassed, like, they don't know what a jerk I am, and they think I'm great, and your friend goes, I know what a jerk you are, and I think this whole celebrity thing is really weird. Listen, I wish that we could all do our jobs as actors, as presenters, as actresses, and then walk away. But half or 70% of our job is marketing.
Yeah, of course. Which is what you're doing today. You're off to the Lincoln Centre to do a whole day of interviews for Ballers.
For our new HBO show, the new HBO show that I'm on called Ballers. And this is the third season, and I've been...
eyes lit up then when you're proud of this one.
I'm really lucky. Well, Ballers, HBO, is such a great show. First of all, Dwayne Johnson and Rob Corddry, Richard Schiff, and all the people that are on it.
Rob Corddry, he's the kind of short, balding guy.
Yeah, not short. No, normal.
Oh, is he not short?
Regular size.
Normal
size.
He's funny though. He's done loads of. He's hilarious.
He is a really talented guy, and so is Richard Schiff, and so is Dwayne, and all the guys they have on it. But Rob Corddry is a super talented actor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's brilliant. I was watching a thing last night on Adult Swim that he did, Children's Hospital, which was very, very
Really
funny.
Josh Wheaton, who did that?
Yeah.
I've forgotten who created that, but a smart guy. Yeah.
Can we talk about the Village People?
Yeah. Oh, Village People.
Because not a lot of people. Everyone goes, "Hey, I bet you don't know what Steve Guttenberg's first big movie break was." Well, actually, I do. The first big movie. Have I got this right? It was the Village People movie.
Well, I consider the first big movie I ever did was a movie called Boys from Brazil.
Oh, of course.
And that was a great one. But the first big commercial outing I had was Can't Stop the Music. That was a lot of fun. I got to know the Village People and Bruce Jenner and Caitlin and
you're good friends with Arlene Phillips as well, the dancer.
I don't talk to her very often, but I see her on Twitter. And of course, the great Arlene Phillips. And I was lucky enough.
She's such a lovely lady.
She was the choreographer and actually kind of a co-director on the show.
She's the nicest. I've met her a few times, and she's. I think she's turned 70 recently. She's still a flirt, Steve.
She's lovely. She's the beautiful Arlene Phillips, and I'm always fond of hearing about her. And whenever, I guess it was a few years ago, I got to see her in person, and we had a brunch. Really nice lady and talented as heck. You know that.
We're in New York for the week. Me and Kath both love New York. We've been here a few times, and I think it's such a great city, and everyone has been so delightful. But you didn't grow up in New York, did you?
Yeah, I grew up here. Yeah, born in Brooklyn.
Okay.
We moved to Queens, which is a little county, and then we moved to Long Island, Massapequa. Right. And I grew up there till I was 17.
And then did you do the LA?
Then I came back to Los Angeles,
Wow.
And I came out in 76, so I consider this my 41st year in the film and television business.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's pretty wild.
It is incredible to sustain it, because quite often people will get a short burst of a couple of years where they're big and they're hot, and then they kind of disappear. But you've been consistent. I mean, there was obviously the pop career of the early the police academies, but you've been consistently making movies and TV.
Been really lucky. I haven't been a waiter since I'm 18.
Is that what you did?
Yeah, I was a waiter. So, of course, like any actor, to augment your income. Yeah. And I consider myself very lucky that at the age of going to be 59, I haven't had a real job in 41 years. So I bless it.
Do you? How many auditions did you go to before you got the first job?
Crazy enough, my very first audition was a commercial for Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I got it.
No, don't say that.
Yeah.
That never happened.
No, it's very rare. But in theater, of course, I was working before that, and I went on 1,000 auditions before I got a job. I got a
fried chicken.
Yeah.
Finger lick. Did you get to meet the Colonel?
I sat next to the Colonel, Harlan. His real name is Harlan, and he was a little aged when I worked with him, and he needed a little help sort of getting around.
Really did. I thought the Colonel was made up.
No, he's a real guy.
Is he really?
He actually created Kentucky Fried Chicken. His name is Harlan, and he had a friend that owned a fertilizer company, and him and his partner used to call him Chicken Chit. But he created Kentucky Fried Chicken in his own kitchen and created a little store, and then it was bought out, and he made a ton of dough.
This is why you got the job. You did all the research on Kentucky Fried Chicken, man.
You got to do all the research. I've done a lot of research on the both of you, and I can't even put it on the air.
What have you found out about Kath? She's bad news.
Well, no, I understand now she's living with Saudi prince, and I didn't know that this was true. You're married, right?
Listen, we don't talk about this. You should know this.
Oh, I apologize. No, I tried to dig as far as I could on the two of you. Found nothing other than you're stellar citizens. You love your country. You love your people. You donate to children's charities.
We donate children to children's charities.
All I've heard is good about you.
Steve, I literally have the biggest man crush on you
Come on.
ever. One thing before we let you go. You did say on the radio when you came on that we could sleep in your apartment.
Yeah.
We turned up. We've been knocking. We've been here for a couple of days. We've been knocking on the door. Steve, going through the mailbox. Steve,
that was you?
Yeah.
Through the mailbox, your lips? Well, let me see. That is your lips. Oh my God!
You didn't let us in.
Yeah, you know what? I thought it was someone else.
We'll be there tonight. Okay.
Tonight, we go to sleep early, so 8:30ish. Okay.
We'll be there. You promise?
Of course. Should we? Right side or the left side of the bed? You can't have the middle because it's either right side or left side. Both of you. I just want you to know.
I love you, Steve.
Love you too.
Well, the dust has settled, and when I say dust, I mean my eggs Benedict and Catherine's lox Benedict. Lox, it turns out, is American for salmon. Steve's gone. Isn't he just the nicest bloke in the world?
I really miss that guy.
You kind of... I noticed what you handed... As we left, you handed him what looked like a CV. And you whispered... I don't know... It felt like you whispered in his ear, I'd be an excellent personal assistant, please get me out of this hell.
I don't know where on earth you got that from, but I might have given you my phone number.
Anyway, this is all happening. It's Tuesday morning. It's just gone 10 o'clock. But we can hand back now to Iain and Kath, who are in the future and are coming live.
I'm wondering whether she's had a phone call yet. Catherine, has he called you?
I think my phone might be on the
never
blink.
mind. Can't win them all.
As I was saying, you should be live in a studio, future Iain and Kath. Is that correct? Of course that's correct. You know that's correct. Otherwise we wouldn't be doing the show, you idiots. No need to be rude.
Well...
we just had the best time with Steve Guttenberg. I know you did. We're you in the future. You don't understand time travel. Calm down. I'm going to end this here. I don't like future Iain and Kath. They're very rude.
I don't like you.
I don't like past Iain and Kath. They're idiots.
I mean...
Those two guys are so stupid.
Why hasn't he called me?
Good evening, Matt.
Good evening, Ian. How are you?
I'm very well, Matt.
I'm absolutely loving it. I think your whole New York trip so far has been a triumph, and you are a genius. But I know you don't like praise, so I'll stop saying.
Well, listen, may God bless you for that. Tomorrow, here's the thing. Tomorrow we're doing the show from WFMU, a radio station in New York that's really hip. Thursday, we were going to be doing it in the hotel. We can't get the equipment to work in the hotel. We're going to try Kath's room.
You've always got the equipment, haven't you, Ian?
Well, exactly. So, but Thursday and Friday, we haven't got anywhere to do the show yet.
No.
And this isn't, hey, it's a little bit of theatre. We genuinely, literally haven't got anywhere to do the show. So if anybody knows somewhere we can go and plug into the internet Thursday and Friday...
And not get arrested.
Yeah, not get arrested. And it's got to be a plug-in. Otherwise, we'd just go and sit in Starbucks and cane their Wi-Fi. But if anyone can suggest anywhere, otherwise, it's going to be dead air.
Well, I haven't got anywhere to suggest for that, but I was going to suggest somewhere to visit.
Yeah, go on.
Columbus Circle, which is up at, I think it's 57th Street. It's up by, just going up to past the Rockefeller Center, you go up towards Central Park, and it's right on the corner of Central Park. It's the entrance, there's one of the entrances to Central Park. I put some photos online earlier on Twitter.
What is it?
Dancers that I saw there.
Oh.
It's just an area outside on the entrance to Central Park, but in the sunny weather that they're having there now, there'll be all sorts of stuff going on there. And if you just want to go to the street theatre and stuff up there, that's pretty good to go.
About 10 years ago, I must have had a really well-paid gig or something, because I brought my mum and my sister and her husband and my nephew Dylan, who was a baby then, 18 months, 2 years maybe. I brought them all to New York, and you know, it was a big deal because Mum, you know, is ill and was in the wheelchair, and it was kind of tough. And my sister went off with her husband and her son one day, and I said to Mum, listen, do you mind if we get a cab, let's go to my favourite record shop, which is now closed down, Bleecker Street Records, and then we'll kind of, you know, just wander back. And we wandered back, and one of the best moments of that trip was we found ourselves in a park. It wasn't Central Park, but there were all these kids, I say kids, they were teens and in their 20s, breakdancing. And me and my mum just stayed there for about 45 minutes watching these breakdancers. And they were, I mean, properly amazing. And, of course, my mum had never seen anything like it. And the thrill of being in New York with this music playing, beautiful sunshine, not as hot as it is now, and just sat there in this park watching these kids breakdance. Oh, it was, and she was over the moon with it.
Yeah, they are brilliant, and there's some really talented well, I'm going to say kids as well, but they're not all of them kids, but there's some amazingly talented people that do that. They just go and do it on the street. And also buskers. Your guest earlier, the artist, was saying that she thinks that London and New York are similar. But I think, you said that London's not as friendly, which I do agree with, but also the freelance street kind of theatre kind of setup in New York is so different from London. In London, it's all a bit cliched and a bit...
Yeah.
You don't see much originality, but in New York, you can literally go around a corner and find something you've never ever seen before.
We went to Central Park the other day, and walking through, we heard this music. We walked towards the music, like proper, really loud beats. It was brilliant, okay? Yeah. Well, there was a guy with a full drum kit in the park. I don't know how the hell he got there, but he was giving it some. And then over the way, a load of roller skaters, right? And we are talking super talented, all ages. There was a woman there who must have been in her 60s, 70s, maybe,
there was
right?
a lot of older people, actually. Yeah,
people dancing together, doing their own thing. They didn't care.
And
it was
also,
wonderful.
I mean, some of the dancing was a little bit crazy, a little bit out there. They didn't give us stuff. They did not give us. They were loving it. We filmed some of it. If you go to youtube.com/rabbithole, we filmed some of it. And Daniel Rayner, who is, I believe, a borderline genius and a listener to this show and an all-round good guy, has made a beautiful psychedelic movie out of it. But you're right. In London, it's buskers at the bottom of the stairs in the underground singing Bob Dylan and R.E.M.
Whistling, it's just it's mental. Yeah.
But here it's all kinds of creativity. I do think the similarities between New York and London are exaggerated, because I think New York is a lot more creative, and there maybe it's just we're seeing it through tourist eyes, I don't know, but I think there is a lot more happening here in terms of the arts.
I remember the first time I went to New York, I was expecting it to be like it is in the movies, and you kind of you get into the city centre and you can be on Madison or Fifth Avenue, and you're thinking the buildings aren't as tall as they're supposed to be. This isn't it's supposed to be steel and glass canyons.
Oh, but the first time I saw steam coming out of
the grate in the floor.
Man, the middle of the road, steam's coming. It's like I'm in Scrooged. This is working.
The first time I went on the New York subway, that was an experience as well, because it's different from London. I remember the last time I was there, I think I had my mobile phone nicked while I was in the hotel. They said, you need to go down the local police station. So we literally walked into Hill Street Blues to go and report my phone missing. And there were two police officers standing behind the desk just having a chat, and the guy was complaining about how his dog had refused to come in this morning when he was trying to get ready to go to work. And I have it seared into my mind, this guy he looked up at his colleague and just went, you know what? My dog's a dick.
I went up to some coppers today and was high-five. I said, guys, am I allowed to high-five American police officers? They went, sure, and then we were high-fiving each other.
Do you know what's a shame, though? The cabs, they've changed the gypsy cabs, so they're all kind of sliding door ones now. They're all modern, aren't they? They're not like the old ones. And I remember the first time I got in the back of one of those, the old-fashioned ones, and we were being driven, I'm not joking, by a guy who sounded exactly like Woody Allen, right? And he drove us all the way into town from the airport, and he was going, the problem is my mom's sick, I gotta go see her, it was all this. It was just, I was sitting in the back just enjoying a performance, and then you realise, no, you're having a conversation with this guy.
And then today, the first cab driver, not the second one who got us lost, the first cab driver, this beautiful sounding Pakistani gentleman, and of course I've spent time in Pakistan, so we're there for, stuck in traffic, we're chatting about Pakistan and the heat over there, and how the heat that they've got in New York today ain't nothing compared to the Pakistani heat.
Beautiful turn of phrase, that man.
Oh, yeah, go on. What was it? What did he said?
He came over here and he said, for business, I love it for business, but actually, it's a very expensive place to live. He said, you come over here thinking that it's a golden city. Actually, it's a golden cage. Yeah. Because everything you make, you spend.
But listen, those guys, they work hard because they've got to make some bread. Dear listeners, it's an unsubtle way of doing it, but I haven't got any buttons here, so I'm dependent on a secret coded language that probably you guys aren't hearing. Listen, we are here in New York. We are live at the moment. In the next hour, you're going to hear some pre-recorded stuff. You're going to hear the chat with Keith and Henda, who are Keith and the girl, and the reason we're using their studio tonight, so thank you. And the reason that we are here is because you, dear listener, said, if you're going, you've got to get in touch with Keith and the girl. So we did. But also before that, another person that you told us about, some of you said there's this guy, an old man, who has turned his house into a museum. You must try and find this man. Well, through a little bit of detective work, through getting the wrong address, through asking a postman, we found that man.
Talk Radio.
You're listening to Talk Radio, dear listener. Coming up, you will hear us in a quest as we try to find a gentleman called Mr. Pisano who has turned his house into a museum. And after that, an exclusive interview with the brilliant Keith and the Girl. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
I tell you what, it is so hot. It is Monday, 2:20, before the show, 2:20 our time, 7:20 your time. And we've just had a lovely little bit of excitement because we were planning to do the show from one of our hotel rooms on Thursday. We just tested out the equipment. Our boss was going, "You must test out the equipment." It'll be fine. No, test it. You should just test it out. No, it'll be fine. We tested it and it doesn't work. So as of now, we have nowhere to do the show on Thursday, which is a little bit worrying, but never mind. We've jumped in a car because when I said we were coming to New York, loads of you, dear listener, suggested places that we should go, and two of you, and I apologise because I can't remember your names, but two of you said you should go and check out this guy, and it's a bloke called Anthony Pissarro, and he's turned his house into a museum. Now when I say museum, it's not like of things. Well, it is of things, but there's no theme to it. It's just, from what I can make out, it's just bits and pieces that he's collected. And some days he's outside his apartment and you can ask if you can go and have a look and he'll show you round. And some days he's not there. So we've got a couple of hours to spare. So I have persuaded Catherine that it would be a good idea to see if there is a strange man standing outside his apartment and we can look in.
Mostly, I'm going for backup, just in case you go in there and never come out again. I think.
Why do you always assume that everybody is going to murder me?
The man has turned his house into a museum. That is not average.
That is respect. You've got to respect that.
It's not average behaviour, though, is it?
Exactly. It's above average, and I think you have to respect the guy's determination and chutzpah.
So you want to go in there on your own?
You need to come in as producer. So.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Anyway, let's see if we can find it first. Okay, we've arrived. Lovely. Thanks a lot, man. Have a good day. Well. Oh, have you got that rucksack? Lovely. I left all the equipment behind. Well, this is number 100. And there's no sign of him. No sign of him. Let us, let's go and have a look. I mean, is this the right street? I wasn't looking at the streets. Let's go and have a little look in here. Well, his name's not on the list of names on here, which makes me wonder if we're in the right street. So let's have a little look-see and do some detective working. So, number 100, East 7th Street. I get confused with the street names. Let's go and have a little look up here. This looks like a mailman. Excuse me, we're looking for Anthony Pissarro.
Oh, Pissarro? He's right there. 102.
102?
Yeah, stuff is in the window.
Thank you, that's it.
Right
He's
there.
famous, yeah?
Yeah.
For his house is like a museum.
Yes.
And we can just go and knock on the window, do you think?
You might have to go in. You might not hear the window.
Okay. Thank you, man. This guy was, we've come all the way from London.
Okay. Right here, 102.
102. Beautiful, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This is incredible. The window's got a grandfather clock. It's got two-headed dolls.
Have to go all the way to the back and knock the door on the left side.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All the way down.
Okay. Well, the mailman's just let us into the building. I guess this is... which one?
Is it all the way to the bottom?
The knock on the left. Well...
Hello.
Is Anthony Pissarro?
Yeah, Anthony, Mr. Pisano. Somebody's at the door.
Hello.
Somebody said, what's your name?
My name is Ian, and this is my friend Katherine.
Ian and
We're from the UK.
They're from the UK. Somebody's here at the door for you. Yes? I'm hot.
Man, it's a hot day, isn't it?
Yes, very.
It's so hot. Wow, this is incredible.
Very slow.
No, that's okay. He's very famous. You know this.
Oh, no, I didn't.
He's famous.
Yeah?
We do a radio show in the UK, and my listeners told me about Mr. Pissarro.
Oh, okay. Somebody here from England to see you. You say you're very popular.
Yeah, you're a big star, Mr. Pissarro.
Yes, that's it.
Can you take that door, please? Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Pissarro.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well, sir. How are you doing?
All right, I thought it was Harry Connick.
Harry Connick Jr.?
Yes.
My name's Ian. This is my friend Katherine. We're from the UK.
Can I help you in any way?
We're from the UK and we do a radio show.
Yes, sir.
And my listeners told me about your amazing museum. Could we come in?
Why not?
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Do you mind if I record this conversation for the radio?
No, not at all.
Thank you, sir. And thank you very much as well.
Why don't you sit and make yourself comfortable?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
We have been told by my listeners, we're in New York for the week. Loads of my listeners got in touch and said, you've got to go and find Anthony Pissarro. Pisano, sorry.
That's all right.
Because you're a celebrity.
Well, I didn't know that.
Well, it's true.
But if that's the case, can I be of any help?
We were just wondering if we could look at your wonderful... Do you still show people your wonderful home?
Yeah, in the evening, yes, they come over. I used to play, but I don't anymore because I have arthritis.
Used to play the piano?
Yeah, this unit here.
Oh, wow. Oh, I can see you've got...
Oh, yeah.
Is that a grand or a baby grand?
This is a grand.
That's stunning. Look at that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would it be possible to look around, or should we come back this evening?
I would appreciate that because everything is all jumbled up inside. And you're at liberty to do whatever it is that you feel you can do, but it's so congested in there.
How about if we came back at about 7:30 this evening?
Ideal.
Would that be okay?
Ideal.
Perfect.
Yeah,
well, we'll see you then, sir.
Okay. Would you like to take my number just in case?
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Let's take your number. Have you got a pen and paper, Katherine?
I've got paper, but I don't have a pen.
I'll get you a pen or pencil or whatever.
Hang on, I think this young lady might have a pen.
Okay.
This is, I mean, from what we can see just in the entrance here, this is amazing. Huh? Incredible.
What's that? What's your name, sir?
My name is Ian.
Ian?
Ian Lee, and this is Katherine. Katherine Boyle.
Pleasure.
Your eyes light up when I mention Katherine.
Well,
you're a charmer.
That's a beautiful name, Katherine.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks very much.
Katherine the Great.
Well, exactly.
Hold on, I'll be right with you.
Thank you, sir.
I'll get you a pen or a pencil.
I got a pen.
We've got a pen.
Have it?
We have one, Mr. Pisano, yeah.
Okay, great. And you have paper?
We have paper, so if you give us your number.
And in the event that you should decide to come over, I would prefer that you call so this way you know I'm here.
Yeah.
Instead of going out.
Okay. We will give you a call this evening around 7 to see if you're free.
My pleasure.
I look forward to seeing you again.
I will look forward to seeing you.
Thank you very much.
Can I check the number again? 390. Got it.
Mr. Pisano, hopefully we'll speak to you later on. And thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Be careful where you're going.
Take care.
See you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Golly gosh. Okay. I mean, a very old gentleman in his late 80s, I would suggest, possibly a little older. But what a charmer. You see, every time he looked at you, his eyes.
There was a twinkle. I saw his twinkle.
We couldn't see a lot. It was very dark in there. But, and it's cramped and it's small.
It's narrow. It seems to go all the way back.
In that narrow, small hallway was a grand piano. I saw 500 albums, vinyl albums, and the rest looked like an absolute treasure trove. All right then, well listen, I suggest we go off and get a coffee because it's been a stressful afternoon. Go and do an award-winning radio show, and then come back and see our friend Mr. Pisano.
Okay, but not on my own, all right?
Okay, you should phone Mr. Pisano. It's now the evening, so give him a call.
Right, I'll give him.
See if he's up. If he's taking visitors.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Pisano. It's Katherine from England. Myself and my friend Iain came over to your apartment earlier on.
Why are you speaking weird?
And we wondered whether it would be okay for us to... Oh, he's sleeping. Okay, no problem. Sorry to disturb you.
Can we try calling him tomorrow?
Can we call you tomorrow? All right, wonderful. Thank you so much. Sorry to disturb. Bye-bye.
Why were you speaking weird then?
Well, because he did a sleepy voice, so I was being gentle.
Why would he... I must admit, when he said call me tonight, I knew he had no intention of receiving us this evening.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Well, she was cooking his, I'm guessing, lunch, so I thought he was just trying to get rid of us for that.
He had just got up, I think, when we got there at about 2:30 in the afternoon.
Ah, that would explain the pyjama bottoms.
Yes, it would do. If he thinks he's getting away from us, that it ain't that easy to shake Boyle and Lee off your tail.
Well, listen, maybe next time you call him.
No. What?
Now he's got my number.
We are not defeated. We're going in his house, whether he's aware of it or not, some point soon.
All we have to do is wait outside for the postman.
Oh, that's a shame. That means we got an evening free. Let's go back and edit the stuff we need to do.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Hey, dear listener. Well, I don't want to say I'm joined by Keith and Chenda from Keith and the Girl, because we've been hanging out all afternoon, haven't we?
We've been joined.
We have been joined together in holy matrimony. I've just been on your show. And it was a very surreal experience, because I've been listening to you guys for the last couple of months, you know, driving to and from work and on the plane over. And then to see your actual faces with words.
Yes, and what we learned is that we definitely put out a lot of misinformation about America that you learned, and so we apologize right off the bat for that. I feel like we were wronging you in a lot of ways, and I'm glad we learned a ton of lessons.
Well, and also Keith, you've obviously misunderstood Great Britain.
It's not so great. No, what do you mean?
Do you know what? He's kind of right, though. It sucks. You know, on your show I was bigging it up because I felt obliged to, but it sucks. We should say, because there will be, get this, there'll be some people who don't even know who you guys are. I know, it's outrageous to think that. But Keith and the Girl is the podcast, and it's been going for like 12 years or something. Keith, your favourite question... What got you into podcasting? I'm joking. You've just read out a brilliant interview request, and it's all those. So,
who are you? What's your name?
Yeah.
When did you start? But I will tell you, Kenda's brother knew about the technology. My brother did separately. They happened to tell us about it, and we looked into it and started.
Because you were what they call early adopters. Because
yes, but
12 years ago, it was not many people were doing it.
He always downplays that we actually started the podcast for him and not me, because I'm sure that feels weird with the title of the podcast being called Keith and the Girl. It seems like he's very dismissive of me, and he is, and that's why I'm here on your show. But
you're my favourite. Out of Keith and the Girl, it's the Girl I like the most.
Yes, I think after 15, we've now been doing it for 12 years. I think after 15 years, we're going to call it Chenda and the Boy, and just good luck to everybody about pronouncing my name. But we started calling it Keith and the Girl. We were telling you a little bit about this on our show because Keith said a lot of crazy shit that I didn't want to be a part of.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, can you just save
She's like, what if Great Britain is great? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm just talking.
Yeah, so part of it was to, you know, have anonymity for myself, and that ended really quick. And I wasn't sure if I can talk as openly as Keith. He says absolutely everything on his mind. But it turns out I can.
Well, how do you... By the way, you can't say on British radio.
You just did.
Well, but
you have to say it with the accent.
with the more we say, the more work Kath has to do in advance, beeping it out. So, well, you know... do you ever... Because I feel that sometimes on the radio show, I'm too honest, and I give away too much of my... Do you have any kind of, Keith, any kind of barrier or anything that, you know, to hold you back?
I would say no, but I'm a human being. That'd be insane, right? So there's got to be something. Maybe we'll find it as we go. But... yeah, I mean, there's something.
You're married,
I just don't know it yet. That I can't talk about. Well, you're good.
But does I'm Jeremy Paxman. But does your wife ever kind of listen to it and go, oh man, why are you talking about
or
that?
You didn't? Yeah, you did. You know, I complain that, for example, she leaves the cabinets open or otherwise clean towel on the floor, and I'm like, if you were at somebody else's house, you wouldn't do this. So how is it just disrespectful to me? It's like, well, you don't tell them about so and so.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't have all day. Close the cabinet. That was the topic.
Yeah.
Cabinets.
Yeah. And she left the cabinet open.
She loves leaving it open. It's got to be passive aggressive.
I think a divorce is on the cards. It's got to be. How do you get the guests? You do this daily, and we do the radio show daily, and it's hard work getting guests of good quality. Hence that you've had me and Kath on today. I'm guessing someone pulled out at short notice. It's like, let's go. We got those Brits. They'll fill an hour. We'll pretend it's going out. We won't actually transmit it. We'll just make them feel good. But you've got like a whole team working with you, haven't you, that do this?
We do now, and it's absolutely amazing. Like, we started just in a bedroom in our apartment, the second bedroom, and you see the table that Keith is sitting on right now. I would sit on the corner of it. You see how he pushes me to the corner? You know what? I'm glad you're here. This is very important for me to learn. Anyway,
this little divot, only one person can sit here and be in charge, obviously.
Sure, and you're fatter.
And be in charge. You hear that? And be in charge.
Right, he's in charge. He doesn't know that I called it Keith and the Girl to be like, yeah, you're totally in charge. Just here's the paper that we need to work on today.
But is it Libby who we got in touch with?
Libby's our booker. She's absolutely amazing. She knows the show really well. She knows the humor, and she's on top of some of the funniest upcoming and also well-established, and we're so lucky to have her. We have Andrea, we have Han, we have my brother Michael and his wife Maricela.
Because podcasts in the UK is still kind of early doors, and it is two people in a bedroom.
Like, I don't know if you know, by the way.
Yeah.
If you heard a little ring in the background. Now we have somebody to answer that door right now. So we don't even have to stop this.
This is incredible.
Yeah, 12 years.
But podcasts in the UK, it's generally there are exceptions, of course. It's a couple of people in the bedroom recording. I nearly said on a tape recorder, but and uploading it on their Mac. But the thing we've noticed about the States is big teams. Some bigger than others, but there are big teams involved.
Yeah, I think that's fairly new here too.
Right.
I think we have a bunch of comics coming here because we do put out 5 shows a week.
Yeah.
So we are fortunate to have those opportunities to meet with even more comedians, and they even still in the United States they do walk in here and go, "Whoa, this is a setup!"
Yeah.
Because
and it's great. It's a great setup. You've got a computer,
computer. The list goes on.
Yeah.
Drapes.
There's a chair that we were passing around between us. That's incredible.
I know. Well, sometimes I think, we did it before Scaled Back. Why are we paying this extra rent for the studio where people are walking in and they're just shocked? Maybe we don't shock them with that. But it is very convenient to leave your house. That's the thing. You leave your house, you go to work. You still take it home, but what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Can I do my American accent?
Oh, please do. Oh, my God.
What are you going to do? I'm Tony. I'm from Brooklyn, and I'm going to shoot you.
Wait, was I just talking or were you just talking?
Isn't it, though? Isn't it?
It's like a mirror.
Yeah.
That's uncanny.
I'm going to sell some heroin for the mafia, and then I'm going to shoot you up. You mother...
Shoot you up.
I'm going to shoot you up. I'm going to take you down to Chinatown.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
And then, what would you do? You're crossing the street and the cab almost runs into you.
Get out the way! Open your eyes! Use your eyes! Your mother didn't give you eyes!
And then poor Catherine's like, do I bleep that? I don't know what these words?
But you did a terrible British accent.
He does a terrible everything accent. I think that's a defense, but I'm not sure.
Me and Keith are so similar. I do terrible.
All of his accent, like he does the same. My mother sounds the same as like a Chinese person just off the boat to him as like,
I'm Honda's mother. In it.
My mother's from Israel, but whatever.
It is quite remarkable, the similarities, Keith, because in my head, I can do accents from all over the world, all regions of Great Britain, all regions of America, everywhere. But when I hear them back on tape, they sound lousy.
Right, because our head is like a shower.
Sorry?
Yeah, I mean, our head is like a shower and everything vibrates just right.
Yes.
But when you hear it back, you're hearing it honest and pure, and we're not that good at it.
No, they're terrible at it.
What is it, by the way, going back real quick?
Hello?
The balls to call it Great Britain.
Yes.
You guys stuck with
Isn't it incredible? Isn't it incredible?
Welcome to awesome America. We say, other countries get annoyed when we say we're number one, but you guys just call yourself great. Yeah. It's not great Israel. It's not fantastic Canada.
I think that's what Trump realized. He's like, all we need to do is put great in the same sentence as America.
Make us great too.
Sure.
It is the most arrogantly named country, Great Britain. I'm guessing it's from when we used to have an empire and we used to own the whole world.
Isn't that looking around like we had that one too?
Yeah,
and that one, and that one.
I mean, admittedly, we had it by through slavery and exploitation, but we had it. We owned it.
Who's had anything without all that? Am I right?
Hey, I'm here a week, huh?
I know I didn't, and I'll shoot them up. Right?
Was that me or was that Keith talking?
Or did a Brooklyn guy run through our window?
The shoot 'em up that happens.
My name's Tony and I'm gonna shoot it. You come over here and I'm gonna kick your ass. I will kick your ass. Now I got 50 kilos of pure China white.
Meanwhile, on the way here, the cab driver ripped him off. Can you imagine if you used this voice instead?
Oh.
Yeah. Instead, I go in and I do the, no, it's absolutely fine. No, yes, you got us lost for half an hour and it's $45. Here, take 70. Take all of it. We don't need this. You need it more than me. You're
Here's like a blank check. You do what's right.
You do. You do what's right. I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break.
We just started.
No, we're going to take a break.
How many breaks do we take on our show? None.
Yeah, because we've got sponsors and advertisers.
Oh, good for you.
Yay.
That's cash.
Yes, that's cash. We're going to take a quick break. This is Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
You're listening to Late Nights with Iain Lee. We've got Keith and the girl. By the way, that Libby we mentioned earlier on, who is the booker.
Hello.
Sorry?
Hello. That's hello, the way you guys say it.
No, it's not.
Okay, I don't know.
We say hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, pleased to meet you.
Very pleased to meet you.
I am the Lord of Buckinghamshire.
I am the Lord of Buckinghamshire.
And I'm going to kick your ass.
And I'm going to kick your ass! And shoot you up!
We can't do that in Britain. We can't shoot people up. We don't have guns.
Are you jealous of that a little bit?
Well, we were jealous of it, but then we see what you guys get up to with them, and actually
world records.
Yeah, I mean,
we get up to.
It's just you don't need, but we don't need guns. But Libby sends out who books your show, Keith and the Girl, sends out a very handy pronunciation guide for your name, because I was kind of worried about, and it's pronounced Keith. Is that correct? Have I got that right?
It's close enough. Henda's still getting it right. It's been 12 years.
Okay, hang on a second. Now, hang on. I think I've unplugged you, Keith. Hang on a second. Which is
This is some show you guys have. Great Britain.
Talking to yours again.
I'm doing a little talking here.
No, sadly, it's still working. Okay, that's
set you up.
That set you up there for a little thing. So, Henda, have I got it right?
You got it perfect.
Beautiful, beautiful. You're talking about the guests you're having. You have guests every single day, and it must be a nightmare to sort them out. Worst guest you've ever had?
Oh God! I don't know.
I think I can't, of course, name them, but it's funny how you have somebody could be a great stand-up and a bad.
Hang on a second. You have gone quiet. I don't know what's going on. We're going to do this.
I was saying it's.
I'm sorry. I've tied Hemda up in the rope here. Here we go.
I'm over it. It's funny how somebody could be a fantastic stand-up and not a good guest, and vice versa. I think the bad guests happen to be the ones where they come off with this anything goes attitude, or their stand-up is ribald, raunchy, and yet to talk to them, they're like, "Oh, I don't know if I can talk about that." I'm like, "But this is all I know about you. I'm reading what you told me about you," and it's like, "No, do we have to get into?"
Oh, well, so they come on and they go, "Nah, yeah, I don't really want to talk about that kind of stuff."
Yeah, and it's like, okay, but that's your whole album that just came out that you want me to promote. It's like, no, when it has to be in my setting. Do you know what I mean? But you're not giving me something else. And also, horrible guests in general, writers.
Horrible. Why?
Well, it's almost not it's almost not fair because writers are used to being by themselves and working out their words before they even put it out there. Yeah. And so now you're asking them to just kind of go on a whim and respond and not find the perfect words and then readjust them and whatever. So they're less of a personality.
But you're just going out there, Keith, and saying they're the worst.
In general, they are the worst. What I do allow them to do is I ask them the questions an hour ahead of time. They rate it, they figure it out, they edit it, they run it through their wife, and then they can talk.
Best guest you've ever had, and don't give me this. Hey, we've had some great. I want the best guest, the one where you went home and you just were like, "This is it. We might as well stop now because we are never going to beat this."
How do you have a best?
You pick one. You pick one.
It's can I pick more than I have different? Okay.
Because we have three. We have three, and she would like to name all three.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing. I'm glad that we got a chance to talk to Greg Giraldo before he passed. Yep. Things like that are a very big deal because he's somebody that I knew from my childhood. He's somebody that I went to see live in New York, in local clubs, and he's somebody that when I think of what's happening in the world today, I go, wow, it'd be really cool to hear his opinion. But part of me goes, you know what? Who knows? Maybe we'd find out he jerked off on somebody's face inappropriately, and maybe it's best that I remember him this way. But I'm glad we got a chance to do that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I like people that tell behind-the-scenes things. Like, let's say we have Jim Norton is on here, and I know that he was from Opie and Anthony, and there's strife between Opie and Anthony. And he'll talk about it, not mince words. Still, he's, of course, I guess, watching certain things that he says, but I love that. We have somebody on from Saturday Night Live, and somebody did something on that show very controversial, and she's like, yeah, I don't mind telling my co-host you're an idiot for this. And I'm like, oh, I asked, but I still didn't expect you to really answer, and you did. And what you're saying isn't going to change the world necessarily, but it's human. If you're human, those are my favorite.
But you're right. That is the joy of your show. I think is that there's something about being in this kind of studio. I say kind of studio, but it's very relaxing, and you two are very good hosts in that I mean, you're quite rude, Keith.
No,
but bad cop. It's but it is. It's a very relaxed atmosphere you set up here. Which is a skill to have.
Well, thank you. I think the key is that I give each person a microphone because it could be unnerving if only the host had the microphone and just points it at somebody and goes, "Now your turn."
Now, what you're saying here is my fancy equipment that I've been showing off. Going, this equipment's great. It's really fantastic. It's broken, basically. And I don't want to say it, but this isn't even recording now. I'm just too embarrassed to say, the lights are flashing and the things are happening on the... But I'm too embarrassed to say that this is actually not recording now. I did that once. I recorded an interview. There's a film reviewer in Britain called Mark Commode, who's brilliant, and I kind of had a man crush on him. And we got him in to pre-record the interview, and I said to my producer at the time, it wasn't Kath, I said, you go, I'm going to sort this out. Leave it to me and Mark, we'll sort this out. And we had this interview, and I recorded it. It was in a proper studio, and it was lovely, and we kind of bonded, and we got on really well. And then I sent the file to Eloise, my producer, to edit it. And she phoned me up. She said, Ian, what went wrong with the interview? I said, what do you mean? She said, well, I can't hear a word that Mark's saying. Did you have his microphone turned on? And I hadn't turned it on. So the whole interview is me going, so Mark, what's the best film you've ever seen? Oh, that's brilliant. You're so cool. I haven't recorded it.
That's happened. That's happened to us for sure. Not that we didn't record it. I mean, it's definitely happened that we didn't record it. We happened to have backup, so that worked out. But we have lost the recording, or the recording corroded or something like that. One time, we asked the guests to redo the show right on the spot, and we redid it. I think it was funnier because you had to one-up your joke without making your original joke a behind-the-scenes thing. You had to explain your original joke and then one-up it. It was not a good time.
But from now on, that's all we do.
12 years, every day, have you ever, do you take time off? Do you have periods where you go, we're just going to have a month's break?
We didn't, for years, at least I didn't, we didn't feel we had the right to take off.
Wow.
Christmas, everything. Christmas Day, sure, but, no Christmas break, no Easter break, that kind of thing. Summer break. It wasn't until a few years ago that finally we're like, I think we've earned a week off, And I know that's silly to other countries that Americans do work more, more days and we don't treat ourselves right. But we of course we'll take a little break here and again. But no, for the most part, it's 5 days a week for sure.
KeithAndTheGirl.com, by the way, is the website. That's where people should go, and if they want to go and listen and watch and hear all kinds of stuff, and obviously on iTunes and all your usual podcast providers. You came to the UK. When was that? Last year?
To the UK? No, that was actually probably, no, it was more than that. It was 8 years ago. When did you meet your wife?
Oh, it's another test about my wife.
Here we go.
She was in Ireland and we met in England.
Was she a fan?
Keith and the Girl show. She did listen, yes.
Oh, now that to me is highly inappropriate. That is grooming. I don't know if you have the phrase grooming over here.
But I didn't know I was grooming. Do you know what I mean? She wasn't in my classroom.
A technicality gets you off the look there.
But we've been together longer than 5 years, married for 5 years. So far, the proof is in the pudding.
Okay. And what kind of reaction did you get from the Brits?
Everybody, you guys seem to understand English, so it really worked out.
He really enjoyed your newspapers because
your newspapers! Oh, wow.
You're allowed nipples on there, and this is how American guys respond to nipples. Look at his face. Look at that.
The glee. Look at that. That's 15-year-old Keith we're seeing there.
What page is that? It's you call it page 3. What page?
Page 3 stunners. Yeah.
Yeah, I still remember page 3. 8 years later. Here in America, it'll be is this scantily clad actress too much? And it'll take up 5 pages. Yeah. But there's no nudity where you just go, we're going to start your day before the news. Brexit on page 4. Page 3, nips.
Page 3, it's breasted. But what is great as well is the good ones. It will have a little story, and it'll be Keeley, 23, from Essex, thinks that it's great that Theresa May was re-elected, and she's looking forward to a coalition with the DUP.
Yes, she is. Oh, she sure is.
It is an incredible... There was every now and then there's kind of a movement to get rid of page 3, and I think it's been. I don't think the Daily Mirror does it anymore. There were 3 papers: the Mirror, the Sun, and the Star. And I don't think the Mirror does it. The Sun, Kath, does the Sun? The Sun still does it, and the Star.
This is what you have a producer for. Hey, Catherine, who has nips still? Hey, could you look this up?
They were going to get rid of it, but it was a big publicity stunt, right? They changed pages.
Thank you, Keith.
They changed the number 3, so that instead of sitting up, it sits like a W, but it looks like a pair of boobs. They're that classy.
You could jack out to even the page numbers.
But also British papers, because the American papers are quite reserved in terms of the stories. We just publish anything. We don't care if it's true or not.
But that's bull. I was about to say bull, the rest of it, but that's bull, and that's what the newspapers here will do. They'll write the full bull SH and then write a $sign and then T. And we think we're being all conservative, but we're actually just making you fill it in.
Yeah.
So, in fact, a few decades ago, the male nipples weren't allowed out. Yeah, and men fought for that, and now they can go free on the beach. We are actually fighting for that. I would love to show you guys my nipple right now, but then Keith's head would explode.
Fight for it!
Well, we went to Times Square on Sunday, and there are women there with their nipples out.
Well, because the law is that you are allowed to be topless in New York, no matter what.
Wow.
But we already have this culture of heckling and weird stuff happening, so,
But we went and spoke to them, and they had their nipples painted, and I said, why are you doing this? And she said, it's for feminism. I said, how is this helping? Genuine question, wasn't it? How is this helping feminism? She went, well, it's kind of difficult to explain, but it is.
But I'm a woman, and you will pay me $5 for talking to me.
Yeah, that was the thing. And then she said, the money goes towards women's charities. I said, which one? She goes, well... It's difficult to explain.
See, this bothers me so much. And normally, I've protested, and there was, a couple times where people are like, do you want to be on camera about this protest? And I say no, because I will not stand on a platform if I am not ready to, fully... If I was out with my titties, I'd have all the information, and it's a shame when you don't, but it's also a shame when you expect one 20-year-old to have all the answer for all of feminism because her tits are out. And I think, I keep saying...
you can say tits, we're British.
Oh, great.
We love tits.
You can say and look at tits.
Yeah.
Oh, tits.
They just don't use the bathroom.
That is true. We still have our toilets outside.
Yeah. So I think here's why I think you. So there's a movement called Free the Nips.
Yes.
And basically, like the more you look at the nipples, just like the more we look at male upper bodies or assigned male at birth. The more you're like, oh, that's not a big deal. So if I keep showing you my breasts, it's your move to not go jerk off at home. I'm not saying don't jerk off.
Yes.
Go jerk off at home. Maybe skip telling me about it.
Okay.
That's what we're looking for.
Okay. Well, I apologise for those emails that I sent. I thought you wanted a log of what I was getting up to. Turns out that is not required, and I will respect your wishes.
But, by the way, coming to America with that accent, and you're talking to these Times Square women with their tits out, and they're like, and is this the areola you said?
But the thing is, I disagree with men taking their tops off. In Britain, when you get the first hint of sunshine, you'll see men walking around supermarkets with their tops off. That's inappropriate.
I understand that.
And disgusting and perverted.
And I just jerk off for no reason. You're making me do this. What are you wearing or not wearing? I can't. Yeah, I understand. Like, we keep hiding our bodies, and then when because of places that have seasons, we hide our bodies because of the cold, right? So the reveal blows people's minds. Now you could either react like a 12-year-old or you can react like an adult. And I think every time somebody takes their shirt off, it must be freeing for them that I don't want to be like, ugh.
No, I am ugh. The men keep your... And to be honest, women as well, keep your clothes on. I don't like nudity.
Our page 3 just talks about summer bodies. So when it's time, it's time.
Is it time now?
I gotta take my shirt off.
No, don't. Don't. The show, Keith and the Girl, is... have you always done it from where we are now?
No, we used to be way further out. Can't believe the amount of comedians that trekked out there. Right now, I don't think we would have the balls to even ask them. Yeah. And balls in America means pleasure. So it was way further out. Now we're lucky enough to be in Astoria, which is a pretty popular neighborhood, especially with a lot of comics, because we're so close to the airport.
Right,
so
okay.
It's much better now.
Difficult for cab drivers to find, though, as we found out today.
No, that was your accent that got you that.
Well, he didn't believe the address. He said this address is wrong. So I then had to go onto my emails, and Chuck said, no, this is the address that we've got, and he didn't know.
Can't say that doesn't happen often. See, I don't know if we should warn the foreigners. I like to whisper foreigners. I don't know if we should tell the foreigners.
Shout it out loud. We know America is a racist country. Be proud of your racism.
When the area here in Queens, they probably were taking you to 27th Avenue instead of 27th Street, right. And that has messed with a lot of people.
Okay, I don't know what you're saying. I don't understand what she just said, but she said it with such conviction that I believed it, and that's the important thing.
She's not saying 27 Road or 27 Drive.
Okay. Again, I didn't understand what he said. I'm completely at a loss here, but we're having fun. We're having fun and we're bonding.
Keep telling me.
What's the plan? Is there a plan for when you started this, Keith, 12 years ago? Was there a plan of what you wanted to achieve with it?
At first, we were thinking it would promote my stand-up. It would promote kind of the singing.
I never thought it would promote my singing. I don't think this is the best platform for that. I did it to promote his stand-up.
Well, I did it to promote her. And I cut off my hair for her to buy a comb. So anyway.
So now you were doing it to promote his stand-up. He was doing it to promote your singing. You've both been doing it for the wrong reasons. Are you going to pull the plug? Is this the exclusive we've got?
Well, we're over it. We get it. Why didn't you say that I said my peanut butter? Yeah, so then just all of a sudden we're like, hey, this is something. Let's keep going. We didn't expect it to take off like it did, but at the same time took it very seriously. Yeah. Wasn't taking vacations, like I said, or time off. And then now what's the end goal? I think just to, get things more streamlined. Everything we're still figuring out new angles and new whatnots. I don't know. This will never happen, I guess, right? But to not hustle forever.
Yeah.
But it's obviously working out and it feels good.
Let's take a quick break. You're listening to Late Nights with Iain Lee. I'm joined by Keith and the Girl, and we're on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Late Nights with Iain Lee, New York City. Well, we're not in New York City, though, are we? Is this New York City?
Yes, 5 boroughs are New York City, and we're one of them.
Okay. Have you always lived in New York?
Yeah, since I was 4.
Where were you before that?
In Israel.
Were you really? Oh, you came from Israel. Do you remember it from being a kid? I'm assuming you've been back and you visited, but do you remember it as a kid?
I don't remember it before the age of 4, but I do remember visiting a lot. I remember a lot of, I'm from the Middle East, obviously, so a lot of aunts and uncles were like, oh my God, you gained so much weight, have some food. I remember that.
I'm married to someone who's half Greek, and it is that thing. Oh, my mother-in-law will say to my wife, oh, you're getting really, really fat. Here, come, and it is, come and let me feed you. And then suddenly there's a table full of food, and I'm thinking, A, she's not fat, and B, there's a table full of food.
Yes, I'll always understand that I will forever be fat and always need to lose the last 5 pounds. It's good to know that before you visit with the parents.
Keith, are you from New York?
I moved here in '96, so maybe I was 23 or 24 years old. It was right before our mayor at the time, Giuliani, really cleaned up the city. New York was a tough place.
Yeah.
What's now a Burger King or a Disney store was a porn shop, was a porn theater. You walk in and jerk off.
You still do that in the Burger Kings.
I'm doing it either way. You do the awning how you want to do it.
I'm treating this building with the historical respect it deserves.
Well, like you'd have the prostitutes walking by. You'd have somebody blatantly crack, weed, smoke, crack.
Now you got to go into special places to hear crack, weed, smoke.
And then people didn't like. People had to like it lost its charm, but you're not worried about if you love your mother, you're not worried about bringing her over and her getting stabbed. You like it.
New York did become a bit of a joke in the 70s and the 80s that it was crime central and it was a dangerous city. Yeah. But now it's
relatively
lovely.
safe. Yes.
I think, I don't know. I just walk around like it is because otherwise I'm just going to be paranoid every other second. But I do have to say, like, when it's so noisy here, I could literally hear, like, the announcements of the train in my backyard. Yeah. But when I go to rural places, when I go to a place where it's just quiet, I freak out. I just know that that's the place where someone's going to jump out of the bushes and stab me. Yeah. Here, I just feel like there's too many people to be doing anything.
Everyone here is nicer than in London. London's very cold, okay, in terms of contact with other people. And when we're on the tube, everyone looks down. When you're walking down the street, everyone looks down. No one makes eye contact, and people in the service industries, people behind counters or in shops, they can be quite surly. But everybody here's amazing.
Is it because you guys, when it comes to the service industry?
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of. I think tipping should be part of the bill, but is it because they're going to get paid the same? And here, we beg you.
Well, I don't know, because it's kind of expected that you tip a black cab driver as opposed to an Uber. When I say black cab driver, I don't mean
I was like, Jesus Christ, you guys are evolved. You could just say that?
No, I mean it's a black gentleman. I mean the colour of the cab is black.
Okay, all right.
So it's kind of, but even then they'll still be quite rude to you. We have lots of black cabbies listening, of course, and I'm not speaking about you guys. But I mean, I remember once me and Kath got in a black cab, and the guy he argued about where I lived. Mm-hmm. He didn't believe that the address I gave him was in the where I said it was, and he just went, "Get out of my cab." And we went, "What? Get out of my cab! I don't want you to. You go on, get out. You're trouble." And so there have been occasions when they can be asses.
But
yes,
they don't sound like you in a place where nobody sounds like you. Yes. So your cab driver here can tell that you're foreign, but you also speak English, which they enjoy based on their racism. And so they're like, "Oh, to us here, your accent is charming and you're smarter than we just assume that you're smarter." So you might be getting a different experience than other people. Also, I noticed New Yorkers, and I try not to do this, but when we see people looking at a map, we're just like, "I'll help you." Right. We don't know where we're going either. We look at a map all the time. But we're like, "Yes, I know which way that is." And I've seen people give wrong directions just so they're New Yorker and they refuse to believe that they don't know where they are. But it's a big system.
I'll be looking around, obviously confused, and somebody will say, "Well, you're comfortable enough to be here. Let me see what you need. Where are you trying to go?" And I'll go, "Just north. I'm trying to go uptown." Like, where?
Yeah.
Like, north. Where are you trying to go? I'm like, I'm trying to go to the closest store. Okay.
Yeah.
So, which way's north? I'm like, I don't know which way's. So you have no idea.
That's the thing. They start wasting your time, and you can't be like, you know what? I'm just going to leave.
I'm better at it now. I go,
oh yeah,
I'm good. I start walking away, and then it's kind of, I don't think you're good. I'm like, I'm good. I'm great. Why is?
Yeah, I have stood there like, I really don't. Nobody here knows, and there's like 2-3 guys trying to help me find the directions, and I'm like, you just admitted you don't know, and then they stand there going, oh, let me see. And I'm like, where are you seeing? Let me see where. Right. You're not even opening your app. Like, where? Let me see in my brain. I'll find it. Just chill out for a second.
I would think it would just be a sexual thing, but yeah, it happens to me too.
Yeah, no, I see it for like, if you have a fanny pack and are like looking at your phone.
You can't say fanny on British radio.
No, but are you being serious?
Yeah, you can't say fanny.
You can't say fanny and you can't say cigarette.
No.
Right?
But you know...
and you certainly can't tie wood together. God forbid.
But you know what fanny is?
Your bum.
No.
Your junk.
Your VJ.
Your vagina.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I
That's
forgot.
not sexy.
Should I just say vagina or pussy?
Well, just
because we have clam, we have.
Oh, for God's sakes, no, don't. We have kebab, but we don't.
You can say love canal.
You can say that, of course. That's romantic.
Right.
Good luck editing this, Catherine. I was. Oh, I'm talking about your listeners, your fans,
if you will. Yeah.
Have you got any kind of like? Most of them are lovely and wonderful and generous, I'm sure, and I know that you use Kickstarter and things, you know, and they support you and things like that. Have you got any, though, that take it a little bit too far, their adoration of Keith and the Girl?
Yeah, one insisted on marrying Keith. I thought that was pretty gross.
I want to marry all my fans, but one beat me to it, beat everybody to it. We have people that
You've just gone to the website. What's this?
This is a list of Keith and the Girl tattoos.
Oh.
We have 142...
tattoos and brandings.
Yes. And this is this guy getting branded. These are the different Keith and the Girl tattoos. If you go to /tattoos, you'll see them all. And I could not be more flattered. Cannot be more flattered. I don't find that too much. Once in a blue moon, it does get too much. I remember in our old apartment, this kid...
This is when we lived in the same place that the studio was running.
This kid looked up our address. He walks past, and I didn't even know what it was at first. This kid, like 18 years old, walks past our window, a kitchen window. And the way he looked in and kept walking, I just found it weird. Like, I don't know why, he wasn't just walking past our house. Then I hear a knock. Then I'm like, it has something to do with the show, I guarantee it. And I open the door, he's like, I listened to your show. My mom told me not to, I got kicked out of the house. And
I just drove up from North Carolina because I got kicked out for listening to your show.
He's traveling states. And I'm like,
is that your car or did you take it? And he's like,
I go, we can't take you in, you know that, right? And he's like, I know that. And I'm like, okay, so
that's a tense situation to be in because he's built up in his head a relationship with you guys.
Yeah, and so I'm like, I don't know. So maybe you should tell your mom where you're at if you want. And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. So give me your number. I don't know why. And good luck sleeping in your car. And then I can't help myself. Yeah. I end up inviting him back so we can interview him. I take his ID as if that means anything, like I'm contacting the FBI.
You exploit him.
We made him honestly, we made him take his pants off. He had his shorts on.
Didn't, Keith. That just sounds creepy to joke about.
And then had him.
Did he actually make him take his?
He had to have him around his ankle so he couldn't run away.
All right, Keith and the Girl is the show. KeithAndTheGirl.com is the website to go to. Anything else that people need to know about you guys?
Best thing to do, and we're hoping everybody subscribes to Keith and the Girl wherever you find podcasts.
Wow, that was beautifully done.
That was nice.
You've been very quiet.
Honest to God, I don't know half the S you're saying.
Oh, man. Hey, listen, it's been nice talking to you. Me and Kath have got nowhere to stay tonight. Can we come and keep at your house? Is that...
stay in your car, but leave your ID and...
Thank you very much indeed. This is Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio, live from New York.
Talk Radio.
Join the Talk Nation.
Pick up your phone and talk radio.
We'll get you talking.